Dr. Mira Elson sat alone in the dimly lit observatory, the soft hum of the holographic projectors filling the silence. A sprawling vista of stars and galaxies enveloped the room, projected in intricate detail around her. She was surrounded by the universe, yet isolated in her thoughts. Her fingers danced over the translucent console as she sifted through streams of cosmic data collected from the farthest reaches of known space. Tonight was routine. Another night of analyzing celestial patterns and anomalies for the Intergalactic Alliance's Astrophysics Division. Yet, an undercurrent of anticipation buzzed within her. Mira had always trusted her instincts, and tonight they whispered that something extraordinary awaited discovery. "Initiate deep space scan sequence Delta 7, she commanded. "Sequence initiated," responded Sora, the observatory's advanced artificial intelligence, her voice soothing and precise. As the data began to populate the screens, Mira sipped her lukewarm herbal tea, eyes keenly observing for any irregularities. Minutes turned into hours, and just as fatigue threatened to dull her focus, a peculiar spike appeared on the gravitational wave monitor. "Pause scan," Mira ordered, leaning forward. "Sora, highlight anomaly at coordinates X93, Y47, Z210. The holographic display zoomed in, and a waveform pulsed before her, an echo repeating at irregular intervals. "That's unusual," she muttered, her heart quickening. "Sora, cross-reference this pattern with known gravitational wave signatures." "Cross-referencing," Sora replied. Moments later, she continued, "no matches found within the existing database." Mira's eyes widened. "Run a diagnostic on the equipment. Let's rule out a malfunction." Diagnostics complete. All systems are operating within normal parameters. She felt a thrill run down her spine. Could this be a new type of stellar phenomenon? Or perhaps evidence of something even more profound? "Begin recording all data related to this anomaly," she instructed, "and prepare a report for the Astrophysics Council." "Report template initiated," Sora confirmed. Mira stood and began pacing, her mind racing through possibilities. The echo didn't align with any known cosmic events. No supernova remnants, no binary star distortions, no black hole emissions. It was as if the signal came from elsewhere. She tapped her communicator. Elson to Dr. Adrian Hayes, "Are you available?" A moment later, a voice crackled back. "Adrian here. Burning the midnight oil again, Mira?" "Adrian, I need you to come to the observatory. I found something you need to see. On my way." While she waited, Mira continued to analyze the data, her excitement mounting. The echo's irregular intervals suggested it wasn't a natural cosmic occurrence. It was almost like a beacon or a whisper from the depths beyond their comprehension. The door hissed open, and Dr. Adrian Hayes strode in, his lab coat fluttering behind him. "This better be good. I was in the middle of recalibrating the dark matter sensors." "Trust me, it's worth it," Mira said, gesturing him over. "Look at this." Adrian peered at the display, his brow furrowing. "An irregular gravitational echo? Exactly, and it's not matching anything in our databases." He folded his arms. "Could be a glitch." "Sora already ran diagnostics. Equipment is fine." Adrian glanced at her, noting the gleam in her eyes. "You think it's something significant?" "I do. I think it's coming from beyond our known universe." He raised an eyebrow. "That's a hefty assumption." "Look at the waveform patterns," she insisted. "They suggest multidimensional interference." Adrian studied the data more closely, his skepticism gradually giving way to intrigue. "If you're right, this could be groundbreaking. Which is why we need to present it to the Council immediately." He nodded slowly. "All right, let's compile our findings." The Grand Hall of the Intergalactic Alliance was some marvel of architecture, a colossal dome with crystalline walls that shimmered with embedded starlight. Representatives from countless worlds convened here, their diverse forms and attire a testament to the vastness of the Alliance. Mira stood nervously at the center podium, the weight of 1,000 eyes upon her. Beside her, Adrian adjusted the projection settings, ensuring the data was ready for display. Counselor Selena Merrick, a stern woman with silver hair and sharp features, addressed the assembly. "Dr. Elson, you may proceed." Mira cleared her throat. "Honored council members, esteemed colleagues, last night, during a routine deep space scan, I detected an anomalous gravitational echo originating from coordinates beyond our current exploratory boundaries." She gestured to Adrian, who brought up the holographic waveform. It floated above them, rotating slowly, its irregular pulses captivating the audience. This echo repeats at non-uniform intervals and does not correspond to any known cosmic phenomena, Mira continued. Our AI, Sora, has confirmed that it is not a system error or false reading. A murmur rippled through the hall. Counselor Thalas Kor, a broad-shouldered man with a deep voice, leaned forward. Dr. Elson, are you suggesting this signal originates from outside our galaxy? Not just our galaxy, Counselor, she replied, her voice steady. Potentially from outside our universe. The murmurs grew louder. Counselor Merrick raised a hand to quiet the assembly. That is a profound assertion. What evidence supports this? Mira took a deep breath. The waveform patterns indicate multidimensional properties, fluctuations that align with theoretical models of interdimensional interference. If this is accurate, we may have just received the first tangible evidence of another dimension intersecting with our own. Silence settled over the hall as the magnitude of her words sank in. Counselor Amara Voss, an alien with luminescent skin and translucent wings, spoke softly. What do you propose we do with this information, Dr. Elson? I recommend an exploratory mission to investigate the source of the echo, Mira said confidently. Equipped with our most advanced technology and a specialized team, we can uncover the nature of this phenomenon. Counselor Kor frowned. Venturing beyond known space is perilous. We cannot risk lives on a speculative endeavor. With respect, Counselor, Adrian interjected, every great advancement in our history has come from taking calculated risks. Mira nodded. The potential benefits, new knowledge, technologies, even contact with other dimensions, far outweigh the dangers. Counselor Merrick exchanged glances with her fellow counselors. We will take your proposal under advisement. A decision will be communicated shortly. Exiting the grand hall, Mira exhaled deeply, tension easing from her shoulders. Adrian placed a reassuring hand on her arm. You did well. Do you think they'll approve it? She asked, her eyes searching his. He smiled faintly. Hard to say. The council is cautious, but they're not blind to the significance of your discovery. As they walked through the bustling corridors of the Alliance headquarters, a voice called out behind them. Dr. Elson! They turned to see Captain Liam Shaw approaching, a tall, imposing figure with piercing green eyes and a reputation for fearless exploration. Captain Shaw? Mira greeted, surprised. What brings you here? I heard about your presentation, he said, his gaze intense. An interdimensional echo? She nodded. Yes, we're hoping the Council approves an exploratory mission. He studied her for a moment. If they do, you'll need a seasoned captain. Adrian chuckled. Looking to volunteer, Captain? Shaw's expression remained serious. I've commanded missions to the edge of our galaxy and beyond. If this is as important as it sounds, I want in. Mira felt a spark of hope. Your experience would be invaluable. He glanced between them. Keep me informed. I have a feeling we'll be working together soon. Days passed with no word from the Council. Mira immersed herself in her research, oscillating between excitement and anxiety. Finally, a summons arrived. The Council reconvened in a private chamber, a more intimate setting adorned with artifacts from across the Alliance. Mira and Adrian stood before the assembly, awaiting their verdict. Counselor Merrick spoke solemnly. After careful consideration, we have approved the exploratory mission to investigate the gravitational echo. Mira's heart leaped. Captain Liam Shaw will command the vessel Odyssey. Merrick continued. Dr. Mira Elson, you will lead the scientific team. Dr. Adrian Hayes will serve as your deputy. Thank you, counselors, Mira said, her voice brimming with gratitude. We won't let you down. Counselor Kor offered a curt nod. Ensure all precautions are taken. The unknown is not to be trifled with. Understood, she replied. Preparation for the mission commenced at a relentless pace. The Odyssey was the pinnacle of the Alliance's technological achievements, a sleek starship equipped with advanced propulsion systems, adaptive shielding, and an AI integration far surpassing previous models. Mira walked the length of the ship's docking bay, marveling at its grandeur. Engineers and technicians buzzed around her, their movements choreographed in the organized chaos of pre-launch procedures. Captain Shaw approached her, his demeanor focused. Dr. Elson, how are the scientific systems coming along? On schedule, she answered. We've installed the multidimensional sensors and calibrated them according to the echo's frequency. Good, he said. Our departure window is in 72 hours. I want all departments to be ready ahead of time. She appreciated his efficiency. "Captain, may I ask, why are you so eager to join this mission?" He considered her question. "I've spent my career exploring the fringes of our universe. The possibility of venturing beyond it, that's an opportunity I can't pass up." She smiled. "I feel the same." In the ship's science lab, Adrian was overseeing the installation of a prototype dimensional analyzer. "Careful with that conduit," he instructed a technician. "It's irreplaceable." Mira entered, her presence immediately noticed. "How's it going in here?" "Making progress," Adrian replied. "Though I'd feel better if we had more time to run simulations." "We'll have to trust in our preparations," she said. "And in each other." He gave her a reassuring nod. "We've faced uncertainties before. We'll manage." The night before departure, Mira found herself unable to sleep. She wandered to the observation deck, a transparent dome offering an unobstructed view of the stars. The vastness of space stretched out before her, a canvas of infinite possibilities. "Sora," she called softly. The AI's gentle voice responded. "Yes, Dr. Elson? Initiate personal log recording." Recording started. She took a deep breath. "This is Dr. Mira Elson. On the eve of our departure aboard the Odyssey, I find myself contemplating the enormity of what lies ahead. The gravitational echo we've detected could be a gateway to new dimensions, a chance to expand our understanding of existence itself." She paused, gazing at a distant nebula glowing softly. "There's fear, of course. The unknown always carries risks, but I believe that our innate desire to explore, to learn, is what defines us. To anyone listening to this in the future, know that we embarked on this journey with hope and courage." "End recording," she whispered. "Personal log saved," Sora confirmed. Launch day arrived. The crew assembled on the bridge, each member taking their designated station. The air was thick with anticipation. Captain Shaw stood at the center, exuding calm authority. "All systems report." "Engineering ready," came a voice. "Navigation systems online." "Communications open?" Mira checked her console. "Scientific instruments are operational. Sora is integrated into all major systems." Shaw nodded. "Very well." He opened a ship-wide channel. "Crew of the Odyssey, this is Captain Shaw. Today we set forth on a mission unprecedented in our history. We venture into the unknown, not for conquest, but for discovery. Our journey may be fraught with challenges, but together we will face whatever comes. Prepare for departure." He turned to the helmsman. "Disengage docking clamps. Set course for the anomaly." "Course plotted and laid in," the helmsman confirmed. "Engage." The ship hummed as the engines powered up, a subtle vibration coursing through the deck. On the view screen, the stars began to shift as the Odyssey gracefully moved away from the docking bay and accelerated into open space. Mira felt a surge of exhilaration. This was it, the culmination of her life's work. She exchanged a glance with Adrian, who gave her an encouraging smile. "Approaching light speed threshold," the navigator announced. "Activate slipstream drive on my mark," Shaw commanded. 3, 2, 1, engage. The stars stretched into luminous streaks as the ship entered slipstream, the fabric of space bending around them. The journey to the edge of known space had begun. Hours turned into days as the Odyssey traversed the cosmos. The crew settled into routines, each department meticulously monitoring their systems. In the science lab, Mira and Adrian pored over incoming data. "The echo is getting stronger," Adrian observed. "We're definitely heading in the right direction. But still no indication of its origin," Mira mused. "It's like chasing a shadow. Fitting, considering our mission," he remarked. She looked up. "Shadows across dimensions," he smiled. "That has a poetic ring to it." One evening, Mira returned to the observation deck. She was surprised to find Captain Shaw already there, staring out into the abyss. "Captain," she greeted. He glanced at her. "Couldn't sleep?" "Too much on my mind," she admitted. He nodded. "This mission, it's the kind that changes you." She joined him at the viewport. "Do you ever wonder what's out there, if we're truly ready for what we might find?" "All the time," he said quietly, "but I also believe that if we wait until we're ready, we'll never take the leap." She appreciated his honesty. "I suppose that's true." They stood in comfortable silence, the stars their only witness. As the Odyssey pressed onward, the gravitational echo grew more pronounced, its patterns more complex. The crew braced themselves for the unknown challenges that awaited them. Unbeknownst to them, their approach was being observed. In the depths beyond their perception, ripples formed, disturbances in the veil between dimensions. The shadows stirred, anticipating the convergence of realities. Back on the bridge, alarms sounded. "Captain, we're detecting an anomaly ahead," the sensor officer reported. On screen, Shaw ordered. A swirling distortion appeared, a tear in the very fabric of space. It pulsed with otherworldly energy, both mesmerizing and foreboding. Mira's eyes widened. "That's the source of the echo." "Helmsman, bring us to a full stop," Shaw commanded. The Odyssey slowed as they approached the threshold of the unknown. "Analysis?" he asked. Mira scanned the readings. "It's a dimensional rift. A gateway, perhaps. The energy levels are off the charts." "Recommendations?" Shaw prompted. She took a deep breath. "We need to proceed with extreme caution, but this is what we came for." He considered her words. "Very well. Begin preparations for a probe launch. Let's see what's on the other side." As the crew mobilized, Mira felt a mixture of fear and exhilaration. The edge of their universe lay before them, and beyond it, the mysteries of the dimensions awaited. "Shadows across dimensions," she whispered to herself. "Here we go." Thus the journey truly began, as the Odyssey and her crew stood on the precipice of discovery, ready to step into the shadows and illuminate the secrets that lay beyond. The swirling distortion loomed before them, a mesmerizing whirlpool of iridescent colors that defied all known spectrums of light. It was as if the fabric of space had been woven into a cosmic tapestry, threads of reality unraveling and reweaving themselves in an endless dance. The bridge of the Odyssey was bathed in the ethereal glow emanating from the anomaly, casting an otherworldly sheen on the faces of the crew. "Status of the probe?" Captain Shaw's voice cut through the hushed silence. "Probe is ready for launch, Captain," replied Ensign Raj Patel from the science station. His fingers flew over the console, finalizing the preparations. "All systems are green." Dr. Mira Elson stood beside Captain Shaw, her eyes fixed on the main view screen. "Ensure the probe's shields are adjusted to compensate for the high-energy fluctuations we've detected," she advised. "Already calibrated, Doctor." Raj confirmed with a slight smile. "Very well," Shaw nodded. "Launch the probe." A slight tremor coursed through the ship as the probe was deployed. On the screen, they watched as the small, sleek device advanced toward the anomaly, its navigation lights blinking steadily. "Probe is entering the outer boundary of the anomaly," reported Lieutenant Kira Simmons from the tactical station. Her short auburn hair framed a face that was a study in concentration. "Telemetry link is stable." Data began streaming in, filling the screens with complex readouts. Mira scanned the information rapidly. "The energy readings are increasing exponentially as the probe approaches the core," she noted, her voice tinged with awe. "It's unlike anything we've ever seen." Suddenly, the probe's visual feed flickered, and the image distorted. "We're losing signal," Raj announced, his tone urgent. "Boost the communication array," Shaw ordered. "Compensating," Raj replied, his hands a blur over the controls. "Signal restored, but it's faint." The view screen snapped back into focus, revealing a breathtaking sight. Beyond the swirling vortex lay a vast expanse dotted with luminous structures, geometric shapes floating amidst a sea of shimmering particles. "My God," whispered Adrian Hayes, who had joined them on the bridge. "It's a whole other region of space." Mira's mind raced. "Sora, begin real-time analysis of the probe's sensor data," she instructed. Analysis initiated, the AI responded calmly. "Preliminary findings suggest the presence of exotic matter and energy forms not found in our universe." Captain Shaw exchanged a glance with Mira. "Options?" She hesitated, the weight of the decision pressing upon her. "Captain, this could be the threshold of another dimension. The scientific implications are immeasurable. I recommend we proceed further, but with extreme caution." He considered her words. "Helm, maintain our current position. Let's see what the probe uncovers before we decide our next move." Hours passed as the crew monitored the probe's journey. In the science lab, Mira and Adrian delved into the data, their excitement palpable. "Look at this," Adrian pointed to a fluctuating energy signature. "These patterns suggest a form of energy manipulation we haven't encountered before." Mira nodded. "And the spatial coordinates are shifting. It's as if space itself is malleable here." "Could this explain the gravitational echo we detected?" he mused. "Possibly," she replied thoughtfully. If this region operates under different physical laws, it might produce phenomena that manifest in our universe as anomalies. A chime interrupted their discussion. "Dr. Elson, please report to the bridge," Sora's voice announced. Sharing a curious look, they made their way back to the bridge. Upon their arrival, Captain Shaw gestured to the view screen. "We've detected an object emerging from the anomaly." The screen displayed a sleek, elongated vessel, unlike any design known to the Intergalactic Alliance. Its surface shimmered like liquid silver, and it moved with an elegance that suggested advanced technology. "Is it one of ours?" Shaw asked. "Negative," Lieutenant Simmons confirmed. "No matching profiles in our database." Mira's heart raced. Could this be an intelligent species from the other side? "Possible," Shaw replied. "Open a hailing frequency." "Channel open," Communications Officer Elena Martinez said. "This is Captain Liam Shaw of the starship Odyssey, representing the Intergalactic Alliance. We come in peace and seek to establish contact." Silence followed. The alien vessel made no response, continuing its approach. "Any signs of weapons?" Shaw inquired. "None detected," Simmons answered. "But their technology could be beyond our sensors' capabilities." "Wait," Mira interjected. "I'm picking up a signal. It's faint, but it's there." Raj enhanced the audio feed. A series of melodic tones filled the bridge, resonating like a harmonious blend of music and speech. "It's a communication," Mira said, her eyes lighting up. "Sora, can you analyze and attempt translation?" "Processing," Sora responded. Moments later, she continued. "The signal is composed of complex harmonic frequencies corresponding to mathematical sequences. It appears to be a greeting." A ripple of awe spread through the crew. "Send a reply," Shaw instructed. "Match their harmonic frequencies." Raj composed a response, translating a basic greeting into a sequence of harmonic tones. Message sent. The alien vessel paused, then began emitting a new series of tones. Sora analyzed them swiftly. "They are inviting us to follow them into the anomaly." A murmur ran through the bridge. Shaw looked at Mira. "Thoughts?" She took a deep breath. "This is an unprecedented opportunity for first contact with an interdimensional species. However, entering the anomaly poses significant risks." Adrian stepped forward. "Captain, the probe's data suggests that the Odyssey could withstand the energy fluctuations with some adjustments to our shields." Shaw considered this. "Engineering, what's the status of our shields?" he asked over the intercom. Chief Engineer Marcus O'Brien's voice crackled through. "Shields are at full capacity, Captain. With some recalibration, we can adjust for the anomaly's energy patterns." "Very well," Shaw replied. "Begin the modifications." He turned back to the bridge crew. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're standing at the threshold of history. I won't order anyone to proceed against their will. If any of you wish to withdraw from this mission, you may do so now." Silence filled the room. One by one, the crew members affirmed their commitment. "All right," Shaw said with a hint of pride. "Helm, set a course to follow the alien vessel. Engage at 1/4 impulse." As the Odyssey advanced, the anomaly enveloped the ship. The viewports filled with cascading lights and swirling colors, a kaleidoscope of cosmic phenomena that defied description. Mira watched the readouts intently. "Shields are holding," she reported. "Spatial integrity is stable." "All systems functioning within normal parameters," Sora confirmed. The ship emerged into a vast expanse unlike any they had seen before. Stars and celestial bodies hung in unfamiliar constellations, and streams of luminous energy flowed like rivers through the void. "Incredible," Adrian breathed. "It's a whole new universe." The alien vessel signaled again, transmitting coordinates. "They're guiding us to a specific location," Raj interpreted. "Follow their lead," Shaw instructed. Minutes later, they arrived at a colossal structure floating in the depths of space. It resembled a crystalline lattice, its facets reflecting and refracting light in all directions. The structure pulsed with energy, sending ripples through the surrounding space. "Is this their home base?" Lieutenant Simmons wondered aloud. "Scanning now," Mira said. "The structure is composed of unknown elements. Energy readings are off the scale." The alien vessel docked at one of the many apertures along the structure's surface. "Captain, we're being invited to dock as well," Elena reported. "Proceed with caution," Shaw ordered. As the Odyssey maneuvered into position, docking clamps extended from the structure, securing the ship gently. "Docking complete," Simmons confirmed. A moment later, the ship's systems registered an environmental interface. They're matching our atmospheric conditions, Mira observed. Security teams stand by, Shaw commanded. Mira, Adrian, you're with me. Let's meet our hosts. The airlock doors hissed open, revealing a corridor bathed in soft, ambient light. The walls seemed to be made of the same shimmering material as the alien vessel, shifting subtly as if alive. A figure approached, a tall, slender being with luminescent skin that flowed with iridescent hues. Its eyes were large and radiant, reflecting the myriad colors around them. Welcome, the being communicated, not through words, but directly into their minds. Mira felt a gentle presence touch her consciousness. It was a sensation of warmth and curiosity. Thank you, she replied tentatively, focusing her thoughts. Shaw glanced at her, surprised. Telepathic communication? It appears so, she nodded. I am Echo, the being introduced itself. We have observed your approach and extend our greetings. I am Captain Liam Shaw of the Odyssey, he responded. These are Dr. Mira Elson and Dr. Adrian Hayes. We represent the intergalactic alliance of our universe. Echo inclined its head gracefully. We are aware. Your arrival was foretold. Mira exchanged a puzzled look with Adrian. Foretold? How? Time and space are fluid here, Echo explained. We have seen echoes of your existence across dimensions. Is that the gravitational echo we detected? She asked eagerly. Echo's eyes shimmered. Indeed, your technology perceives the ripples caused by the convergence of our dimensions. Captain Shaw maintained a composed demeanor. Echo, may we ask the purpose of this meeting? To warn you, Echo conveyed, a hint of solemnity entering their shared consciousness. A disruption is occurring, a destabilization of the barriers between dimensions. It threatens both our universes. Mira felt a chill. Can you elaborate? Echo gestured gracefully and the corridor transformed. The walls projected a holographic display of interwoven dimensions, threads of reality intertwining and fraying. The nexus that binds our dimensions is weakening, Echo explained. If it collapses, it will result in the annihilation of multiple realities. Adrian stared in disbelief. Is there a way to prevent this? Echo focused on them intently. There may be, but it requires the combined efforts of our peoples. Shaw's expression hardened with resolve. Then we will do whatever it takes. Back on the Odyssey, the senior staff convened in the conference room. Holographic displays projected the data Echo had shared. Based on this information, the Nexus acts as a bridge between dimensions, Mira summarized. It's destabilizing due to energy imbalances caused by unknown factors. Could our arrival have contributed to this? Shaw asked. It's possible, Adrian admitted, but Echo seemed to suggest it's a larger issue. Chief Engineer O'Brien stroked his beard thoughtfully. If we could adjust the energy flow, perhaps we could reinforce the Nexus. But we'd need to understand their technology, Simmons pointed out, which is far beyond ours, Raj added. Mira tapped the table, thinking. Echo offered to collaborate. If we combine our knowledge, we might find a solution. Shaw stood. Agreed. Our priority is to prevent this catastrophe. Dr. Elson, coordinate with Echo. Mr. O'Brien, assess how our systems can be integrated with theirs. He looked around the table. This is uncharted territory for all of us. But I have confidence in this team. Let's get to work. Over the next several days, the crew of the Odyssey worked closely with Echo and his people. Communication was a blend of telepathic exchanges and technological interfaces. In the science lab, Mira and Echo examined the Nexus's energy patterns. The fluctuations are increasing, she noted. We don't have much time. Echo's thoughts conveyed urgency. We must stabilize the harmonic frequencies. Your ship's systems can amplify the necessary resonance. Adrian entered, holding a datapad. We've recalibrated the deflector array to emit the required energy pulse. Excellent, Mira said, but we need to ensure it's precisely aligned with the Nexus's core. Echo placed a slender hand on the console, causing new schematics to appear. I can guide you through the alignment process. In engineering, O'Brien coordinated with the alien technicians. Despite the language barrier, they found common ground in their shared expertise. Reroute the power from auxiliary systems, he instructed. We'll need every bit of energy we can muster. The alien technician nodded, their luminescent fingers gliding over the controls. On the bridge, Captain Shaw monitored the progress. Status report. All systems are ready, Simmons confirmed, awaiting final synchronization. Mira's voice came over the intercom. Captain, we're prepared to initiate the stabilization sequence. Understood, he replied. All hands brace for potential fluctuations. He glanced at the view screen where the Nexus shimmered, a vast, intricate web of energy threads pulsating erratically. "Commence the sequence," he commanded. In the lab, Mira and Eco activated the controls. The Odyssey emitted a focused energy beam toward the Nexus, its deflector dish glowing brightly. "Energy levels are rising," Adrian reported. "Harmonic frequencies are aligning." Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. Alarms blared. "Captain, we're experiencing spatial distortions," Simmons warned. "Compensate with thrusters," Shaw ordered. "Maintain our position." The Nexus began to stabilize, its pulsations becoming more rhythmic. "It's working," Mira exclaimed. But then a surge of energy backlashed toward the Odyssey, overloading the systems. "Emergency power to shields," Shaw shouted. "Shields failing," Raj reported. In the lab, consoles exploded, throwing Mira and Adrian to the floor. Eiko shielded them with a protective energy field emanating from his body. "We must complete the sequence," Echo urged. Mira struggled to her feet. "Sora, reroute control to auxiliary stations." "Rerouting," the AI responded, her voice strained. They resumed the sequence, pushing the systems to their limits. On the bridge, the crew watched as the Nexus's energy patterns stabilized further. The violent shaking subsided. "Shields are regenerating," Raj said with relief. "Good work," Shaw acknowledged. Finally, the Nexus emitted a brilliant flash, then settled into a steady, harmonious glow. "We did it," Mira whispered, exhaustion evident in her voice. Eco's eyes conveyed gratitude. "You have helped save not just one universe, but many." Later, in the debriefing room, Captain Shaw, Mira, and Eco reflected on the events. "There's still much we don't understand," Shaw admitted. "But we've taken a crucial first step." Eco nodded. "Our paths are now intertwined. There is more to be done to ensure lasting stability." Mira looked at them both. "Perhaps this is the beginning of a new alliance, one that spans dimensions." Eco's luminescence brightened. "That is our hope as well." As the Odyssey prepared to depart, the crew felt a profound sense of accomplishment. They had faced the unknown and emerged not only unscathed, but enriched by the experience. Captain Shaw stood on the bridge, watching the alien structure recede on the view screen. "Set course for home," he ordered. "Course laid in," the helmsman confirmed. Mira joined him, a thoughtful expression on her face. "Do you think we'll see them again?" He glanced at her. "I have a feeling our journey with Eiko and his people is far from over." She smiled softly. "I hope so." As the Odyssey slipped back through the anomaly, the crew couldn't shake the feeling that they had become part of something much larger than themselves, a tapestry of interconnected dimensions with shadows yet to explore. The Odyssey cruised through the ethereal expanse of the alternate dimension, its hull reflecting the luminescent streams of energy that flowed like rivers in the cosmic abyss. The crew had successfully aided Eiko in stabilizing the Nexus, but their mission was far from over. The realization that the dimensional barriers remained fragile weighed heavily on everyone. In the briefing room, Captain Shaw convened his senior staff. A holographic projection of the Nexus rotated slowly above the central table, its intricate lattice of energy threads mesmerizing yet daunting. "Recent scans indicate residual fluctuations in the Nexus," Dr. Mira Elson reported, her brow furrowed with concern. "While we've prevented an immediate collapse, the structure remains unstable." Chief Engineer Marcus O'Brien leaned forward. "The energy surges are unpredictable. If we don't find a way to reinforce the Nexus permanently, we could face another crisis." Captain Shaw glanced around the table. "Suggestions?" Lieutenant Kira Simmons spoke up. "Captain, perhaps we should consider returning to our universe to gather additional resources. We might not have the necessary technology on board to address this issue." Before Shaw could respond, Dr. Adrian Hayes interjected. "Respectfully, Lieutenant, time may not be on our side. The dimensional distortions could accelerate without warning." Mira nodded in agreement. "Adrian's right. We've already seen how rapidly conditions can change here. We need to find a solution now." Shaw sighed, weighing the options. "Very well. Let's focus on what we can do with the resources at hand. Mira, continue working with Eiko to explore alternative methods of stabilizing the Nexus. Meanwhile, in the ship's arboretum, a tranquil space filled with flora from various worlds, Mira met with Eiko. The alien's luminescent form cast a soft glow among the exotic plants, creating an atmosphere of serene otherworldliness. Your nexus remains at risk, Mira began, her tone earnest. Our initial efforts provided a temporary fix, but we need a long-term solution. Eiko's thoughts flowed into her mind, tinged with both gratitude and concern. We are aware. The interweaving of dimensions is a delicate balance, one that has been disrupted by forces beyond our understanding. Could there be another entity causing these disruptions, she asked. Perhaps someone or something is interfering intentionally. Eiko's eyes shimmered. There are entities that exist between dimensions, beings of pure energy known as the Umbra. They thrive on chaos and have been known to manipulate dimensional barriers for their purposes. Thus Mira felt a chill. Why didn't you mention this before? We hoped their influence was minimal, Eiko admitted, but it appears they may be the root cause of the instability. Then we need to find a way to counteract their actions, she asserted. Can we communicate with them? They do not perceive reality as we do, Eiko explained. Communication is challenging. Mira paced thoughtfully among the alien flora. Perhaps if we could create a barrier or a shield around the nexus, we could prevent further interference. Eiko considered her proposal. Such a construct would require immense energy and precise calibration. Our ship's deflector array could be modified to project a containment field, she suggested. Combined with your technology, it might just work. Eiko's luminescence brightened slightly, a sign of optimism. It is a possibility worth exploring. Back on the bridge, Captain Shaw listened intently as Mira and Eiko presented their plan. Captain, by integrating our deflector array with Eiko's dimensional stabilizers, we believe we can generate a containment field around the nexus, Mira explained. Shaw nodded slowly. What are the risks? Significant, she admitted. The energy output required could overload our systems. Additionally, if the Umbra respond aggressively, we may face direct attacks. Lieutenant T. Simmons chimed in. Captain, security teams can be placed on high alert. We can enhance our defensive systems to prepare for any threats. Shaw met Eiko's gaze, or rather sensed his presence. Eiko, are you certain this is our best course of action? It is a perilous path, Eiko acknowledged, but it may be our only hope to secure the nexus and protect both our dimensions. Shaw made his decision. Very well. Begin preparations immediately. All departments coordinate with Dr. Elson and Eiko. In engineering, the atmosphere was tense yet focused. Technicians hurried about, reconfiguring systems under O'Brien's watchful eye. Increase the power flow to the deflector array by 20%, he instructed. We'll need every bit of energy we can muster. Adrian worked alongside him, inputting calculations. We have to ensure the energy harmonics match those of the Nexus. Otherwise, the containment field could destabilize it further. Agreed. O'Brien said, precision is key. Sparks flew from a nearby console, prompting a flurry of activity. Damn it! Reroute those circuits! O'Brien barked. On the bridge, the crew monitored the surrounding space. The once serene expanse now showed signs of disturbance, ripples and shadows moving in unnatural patterns. Captain, sensors are detecting anomalies approaching our position, Simmons reported. Visuals? Shaw requested. The view screen displayed amorphous shapes shifting in the void, their forms dark and insubstantial. The Umbra, Eiko conveyed solemnly. They are drawn to the Nexus's energy. Shields up, Shaw ordered. Maintain readiness. In the science lab, Mira fine-tuned the synchronization algorithms. Sweat beaded on her forehead as she concentrated. Almost there, she muttered. Eiko stood beside her, his presence calming. You possess great determination, Dr. Elson. She glanced at him appreciatively. We're all in this together. Indeed, he affirmed. An alert sounded. Containment field parameters are set, Sora announced. Good, Mira said. Initiate field projection on my mark. Back on the bridge, the Umbra entities drew closer, their movements erratic and unsettling. Captain, the Umbra are within proximity of the Nexus, Simmons warned. How long until the containment field is active? Shaw asked over the intercom. Moments away. Mira's voice responded. Understood. Suddenly, the ship jolted. We've been hit by an energy surge, Raj exclaimed. Shields holding at 80%, Simmons reported. Evasive maneuvers, Shaw commanded. Keep us between the Umbra and the Nexus as long as possible. The Odyssey swerved gracefully, positioning itself strategically. In the lab, Mira initiated the containment field. Activating, now! A beam of concentrated energy shot from the ship's deflector array, connecting with Eiko's stabilizers. A translucent barrier began to form around the Nexus, its surface shimmering like a soap bubble reflecting all the colors of the spectrum. Containment field is forming, Adrian confirmed. Energy levels are stabilizing, Sora added. But the Umbra were not deterred. They pressed against the barrier, causing ripples and distortions. Captain, the Umbra are attempting to breach the containment field, Simmons alerted. Can we reinforce it? Shaw asked. Increasing power output, O'Brien replied from engineering. But we're approaching critical limits. The ship shuddered again as another surge struck. Consoles flickered and lights dimmed momentarily. Structural integrity is compromised on decks 5 through 7, Raj reported. Seal off those areas, Shaw ordered. Evacuate all personnel. Mira monitored the field stability. The Umbra's attacks are intensifying. We can't sustain this for long. Eiko reached out, his hand touching the holographic representation of the Nexus. There may be another way. What do you mean? She asked. Our people possess the ability to channel energy directly, he explained. I can amplify the containment field from within. Is that safe? Adrian questioned. It carries great risk, Eiko admitted, but it may be the only way. Mira looked at him with concern. We can't ask you to sacrifice yourself. Eiko's eyes softened. Your compassion is admirable, but the fate of countless lives depends on this. She hesitated, then nodded resolutely. What do you need from us? Maintain the field as long as possible. I will handle the rest. Eiko departed the ship, his form merging seamlessly with the barrier. From the bridge, the crew watched in awe as his luminescence spread across the containment field, reinforcing it with a radiant glow. The field's integrity is increasing, Raj observed. Energy levels are normalizing. But the Umbra were relentless. They converged on Eiko, their dark forms contrasting sharply with his light. Eiko is drawing the Umbra away from the Nexus, Mira realized. He's becoming a beacon. Can we assist him? Shaw asked. Diverting additional power to the field, O'Brien reported, but our reserves are nearly depleted. Captain, if we push the engines beyond their limits, we risk a core breach, Adrian warned. Shaw faced a dire choice. If we do nothing, Eiko, and possibly all of us, are lost. He made his decision. Divert all available power to the containment field and shields. Prepare to eject the warp core if necessary. As the Odyssey channeled its remaining energy, the containment field pulsed with renewed strength. Eiko's light intensified, repelling the Umbra, who began to retreat, their forms dissipating into the void. It's working, Simmons exclaimed. Field stability is at 95%, Raj confirmed, but alarms blared anew. Engine core temperature critical, Sora warned. Core breach imminent. Initiate core ejection sequence, Shaw commanded calmly. Core ejection in 3, 2, 1, ejected, Raj announced. Through the view screen, they watched as the warp core jettisoned into space, a trail of plasma in its wake. Shields are down, Simmons reported grimly. We're running on auxiliary power. The crew braced for the worst, but the Umbra had fully retreated. The Nexus now glowed with a steady light, the containment field holding firm. Eiko? Mira whispered, her eyes searching the swirling energies outside. A soft voice entered her mind. The Nexus is secure. Your sacrifice has ensured the safety of many worlds. Thank you, Eiko, she replied silently. Will you return? There was a pause. My path leads elsewhere now, but we will meet again across the tapestry of dimensions. His presence faded, leaving Mira with a profound sense of both loss and hope. In the aftermath, the Odyssey drifted, its systems severely compromised. Emergency repairs were underway, but without the warp core, their journey home seemed impossible. In the engineering bay, O'Brien rallied his team. We may not have a warp core, but we still have impulse engines. Let's get them operational. Adrian joined him. I have an idea. If we can harness residual energy from the containment field, we might be able to create a temporary propulsion system. O'Brien grinned. Now you're thinking like an engineer. On the bridge, Shaw and Mira assessed their situation. Captain, we're receiving a transmission, Elena announced. From whom? He asked. It's from the Intergalactic Alliance. Signal strength is weak, but it's definitely them. Shaw exchanged a surprised look with Mira. On screen. The view screen flickered, revealing the face of Counselor Selena Merrick. Captain Shaw, Dr. Elson, we've been monitoring your situation. Assistance is on the way. Counselor, how did you... Mira began. We received a message from Eiko, Merrick explained. He provided us with the coordinates and information about your mission. Mira smiled, a mixture of relief and gratitude washing over her. Shaw nodded. Understood. Our ship is damaged, but we're managing. Hold tight, Marek assured them. Rescue vessels are en route. And Captain, you and your crew have our deepest thanks for your extraordinary efforts. Thank you, Counselor, Shaw replied. The transmission ended, and the bridge crew erupted into subdued cheers. Days later, as the Odyssey limped toward the rendezvous point, Mira found herself once again on the observation deck. The stars outside seemed brighter, more vivid. Adrian joined her, handing over a steaming cup of coffee. Figured you could use this. Thanks, she said, accepting the cup gratefully. He leaned against the railing. Hell of a mission. She chuckled softly. That's an understatement. Do you think Aiko is out there somewhere? He asked. She gazed into the expanse. I believe so, and I think we've only scratched the surface of what's possible. He nodded thoughtfully. You know, when we get back, the Council will want a full report. This could change everything we know about science, about reality itself. Yes, she agreed, and we have a responsibility to handle that knowledge wisely. They stood in comfortable silence, the weight of their experiences settling in. In his quarters, Captain Shaw recorded a log entry. Captain's log supplemental. The Odyssey and her crew have faced challenges beyond anything we could have anticipated. We've encountered new forms of life, confronted entities that exist beyond our perception, and played a part in securing the very fabric of our universe. As we await rescue, I am reminded of the resilience and courage displayed by every member of this crew. Together, we've proven that even in the face of the unknown, unity and determination can overcome the greatest of obstacles. This mission has marked the beginning of a new chapter, not just for us, but for all civilizations within the Intergalactic Alliance. The shadows across dimensions no longer represent fear and uncertainty, but the promise of discovery and the enduring spirit of exploration. He paused, then added, End log. As the rescue ships arrived, the crew of the Odyssey prepared for the journey home. Repairs would be extensive, debriefings exhaustive, but they were ready. Mira stood on the bridge one last time, watching as the rescue vessels approached. Captain Shaw joined her. Ready to go home? He asked. She smiled warmly. Yes, but also eager for what comes next. He nodded. Something tells me our adventures are far from over. Agreed, she said. After all, there are countless dimensions out there, each with their own mysteries. He extended his hand. To the next journey. She shook it firmly. To the next journey. The starfield outside the Odyssey's viewport shifted as the ship was towed through slipstream space by the Intergalactic Alliance rescue vessels. Repairs were underway, but the absence of a warp core meant they were reliant on external assistance to return home. The crew, weary yet triumphant, prepared for the debriefings and evaluations that awaited them. In the ship's infirmary, Dr. Mira Elson sat on a biobed as the medical officer scanned her for any residual effects from their ordeal. Physically, you're fine, Lieutenant Dr. Elena Moreau concluded, her expression one of professional concern. But you should get some rest. You've been pushing yourself hard. Mira nodded absently. Thank you, Elena. I'll try to get some sleep. As she exited the infirmary, Captain Shaw approached her in the corridor. Dr. Elson, I was just coming to see you. Captain, she acknowledged, managing a tired smile. How are you holding up? I've been better, but considering everything, I'm all right. He gestured down the corridor. Care to join me in the observation lounge? There's something we need to discuss. Curiosity piqued. She followed him to the lounge, a spacious area with a panoramic view of the swirling slipstream outside. They settled into chairs facing the viewport. What's on your mind, Captain? He took a deep breath. I've been reviewing the data from our mission, and I have concerns about how the Council might react. She tilted her head. Concerns? We've just prevented a potential interdimensional catastrophe. True, but we also lost our warp core, and the ship sustained significant damage, not to mention the involvement of the Umbra and Eco's sacrifice. The Council may question the risks we took. Mira considered his words. You think they'll blame us for the setbacks, rather than acknowledge the accomplishments? He sighed. Politics can be complicated. There are factions within the Alliance that are wary of interdimensional exploration. They might use this as an opportunity to push their agenda. She frowned. But the knowledge we've gained is invaluable. We have to make them see that. Agreed. which is why we need to present a united front. Our reports should highlight the necessity of our actions and the benefits that can come from further cooperation with beings like Eco. She nodded resolutely. I'll start preparing my findings for the council presentation. Good. And Mira. Yes, get some rest. We need you at your best, she smiled wryly. I'll do my best, Captain. Upon their arrival at the Alliance's central space station, the crew disembarked amid a flurry of activity. Technicians swarmed the Odyssey, assessing the damage and beginning repairs. Mira felt a pang of sadness as she glanced back at the ship that had carried them through such extraordinary events. The debriefings began almost immediately. In a grand chamber adorned with holographic banners representing the member worlds of the Alliance, Mira stood before the council. The room was filled with representatives, humans, aliens, and artificial intelligences, each observing her intently. Counselor Selena Merrick presided over the session. Dr. Elson, we have reviewed your preliminary reports, but we require a comprehensive account of your mission. Mira took a deep breath. Counselors, esteemed representatives, our mission to investigate the gravitational echo led us to unprecedented discoveries. We encountered an interdimensional being named Eco, who aided us in stabilizing the Nexus, a structure integral to the balance between dimensions. She proceeded to detail their interactions with Eco, the threat posed by the Umbra, and the measures taken to protect both their universe and others. As she spoke, murmurs rippled through the assembly. When she concluded, Counselor Thalas Kor leaned forward, his expression skeptical. Dr. Elson, while your account is indeed remarkable, it raises significant concerns. You engaged with entities that could pose unknown risks to our civilization. The loss of the Odyssey's warp core and the damage sustained are evidence of these dangers. Mira met his gaze steadily. Counselor Kor, the risks were considerable, but the alternative was the potential collapse of multiple dimensions. Our actions were necessary to prevent a catastrophe of unimaginable scale. Another counselor, Amara Voss, whose luminescent wings shimmered subtly, spoke up. Dr. Elson, you mentioned that Eco sacrificed himself to reinforce the containment field. Can you elaborate on the nature of his abilities and whether they pose a threat? Eco's abilities stem from his unique existence between dimensions, Mira explained. He used his energy to stabilize the Nexus, an act of selflessness to protect both his realm and ours. There is no evidence to suggest that he, or others like him, pose a threat unless provoked. Counselor Merrick interjected. The information you've provided is invaluable, Dr. Elson. However, it also highlights the need for caution. Interdimensional interactions could have unforeseen consequences. Captain Shaw stood. Counselors, if I may? Merrick nodded. Proceed, Captain Shaw. Our mission demonstrated the importance of cooperation and understanding. While the risks are undeniable, the potential benefits, in terms of knowledge, technology, and alliances, are immense. Turning away from this opportunity out of fear would be a disservice to the ideals upon which the Alliance was founded. The assembly murmured again, this time with a mix of agreement and dissent. Counselor Kor remained unconvinced. Captain, the safety of our citizens is paramount. We cannot recklessly pursue ventures that may endanger our very existence. A new voice echoed through the chamber. Perhaps there is a way to proceed responsibly. All eyes turned to see Dr. Lee. Aria Lentz, a respected scientist known for her work on quantum realities. Dr. Lentz, you have the floor, Marek acknowledged. Thank you, Counselor. Based on the data provided by Dr. Elson and Captain Shaw, I propose the establishment of a dedicated research division within the Alliance focused on interdimensional studies. This division would operate under strict oversight, ensuring that all precautions are taken. Mira's eyes lit up. That's an excellent idea. It would allow us to continue exploring these frontiers while addressing safety concerns. Counselor Merrick considered the proposal. An interdimensional research division could bridge the gap between caution and progress. It warrants further discussion. Kor's expression softened slightly. If proper safeguards are in place, I would support such an initiative. The counselors exchanged glances, nodding in agreement. Very well, Merrick concluded. We will convene a committee to establish the parameters of this new division. Dr. Elson, Captain Shaw, your contributions will be essential. After the session, Mira and Shaw walked together through the station's bustling corridors. That went better than expected, Shaw remarked. Thanks to Dr. Lentz's timely intervention, Mira agreed. I think she sees the potential as we do. He smiled. Seems we've gained an ally. They parted ways as Mira headed to her temporary quarters. As she entered, she found a message waiting, a holographic recording from Adrian. Hey, Mira. His image flickered to life. I thought you'd like to know that initial analyses of the data are yielding fascinating results. The energy patterns from the Nexus could revolutionize our understanding of physics. She smiled, feeling a surge of excitement. The possibilities were endless. Over the next few weeks, Mira immersed herself in setting up the Interdimensional Research Division. She collaborated with scientists from various disciplines, coordinating efforts to study the data and plan future missions. One afternoon, as she was poring over schematics, her communicator chimed. Dr. Elson, you have a visitor. E-Station's AI informed her. Send them in, she replied, curious. The door slid open to reveal a young woman with piercing blue eyes and an air of quiet confidence. Dr. Elson, my name is Lyra Morgan, she introduced herself. I was ECO's liaison to the Alliance. Mira blinked in surprise. I wasn't aware that ECO had established contacts here beyond our mission. Lyra smiled faintly. There's much you don't know. ECO anticipated the events that transpired and took steps to ensure that our worlds remained connected. Please have a seat, Mira offered, intrigued. Lyra sat gracefully. ECO's sacrifice was not the end of his journey. Beings like him transcend conventional existence. He wanted you to have this. She handed Mira a small, crystalline device that pulsed with a familiar luminescence. What is it? Mira asked, studying the object. A communication conduit, Lyra explained. It will allow you to contact ECO and others like him when the time is right. Mira's heart raced. This changes everything. Indeed, Lyra agreed, but you must use it wisely. The balance between dimensions is delicate. I understand, Mira assured her. Thank you. Lyra stood. I look forward to working with you, Dr. Elson. There's much we can achieve together. As she left, Mira sat back, contemplating the device in her hand. The future held even greater mysteries than she had imagined. Meanwhile, Captain Shaw oversaw the repairs to the Odyssey. The ship had become more than just a vessel. It was a symbol of their journey and the challenges they had overcome. Chief Engineer O'Brien approached him on the engineering deck. Captain, we've made significant progress. The new warp core is more efficient, and we've integrated some of the energy modulation techniques we learned from the mission. Shaw raised an eyebrow. Won't the Council have concerns about incorporating interdimensional technology? O'Brien grinned. It's all within safety protocols, I assure you. Good work, Marcus, Shaw acknowledged. The Odyssey will be better than ever. As he walked through the ship, he reflected on the journey ahead. The Alliance's decision to embrace interdimensional exploration opened new horizons, but also new responsibilities. He entered the bridge, where Lieutenant Simmons and Ensign Raj were calibrating the navigation systems. Captain, Simmons greeted him. We've updated the star charts to include the anomaly's coordinates. Excellent, he replied. We'll be ready when the time comes. That evening, a reception was held in honor of the Odyssey's crew. The grand hall was adorned with banners and holographic displays showcasing their achievements. Mira mingled with colleagues, accepting congratulations and engaging in animated discussions about future projects. Dr. Arya Lentz approached her with a glass of champagne. To new beginnings, she toasted. To collaboration, Mira agreed, clinking glasses. Arya's expression turned serious. You know, not everyone is pleased with these developments. There are those who fear what lies beyond. Mira nodded. I've sensed the undercurrents of dissent, but we can't let fear dictate our actions. Agreed, Arya said. We must proceed with caution and transparency. As the evening progressed, Mira found herself on the balcony overlooking the station's central atrium. The vastness of space stretched beyond, dotted with the distant lights of stars and ships. Captain Shaw joined her. Enjoying the view? It's inspiring, she said softly. So much potential out there. He leaned on the railing beside her. You know, when we first embarked on this mission, I never imagined it would lead to all this. Neither did I, she admitted, but I wouldn't change a thing. They stood in companionable silence, each lost in thought. Do you ever think about ECO? She asked. Often, he replied. He showed us that there's more to existence than we realize. She held up the crystalline device. I was given a way to contact him. He looked at it with interest. That's remarkable. I haven't used it yet. I'm not sure when the right time will be. He met her gaze. When you do, let me know. I'd like to be there. She smiled. Of course. As the weeks turned into months, the Interdimensional Research Division became a beacon of innovation. Teams delved into the mysteries of the Nexus, the Umbra, and the possibilities of interdimensional travel. Mira and her colleagues published papers, developed new technologies, and trained a new generation of scientists and explorers. Yet shadows lingered. Reports surfaced of anomalies and unexplained phenomena within the Alliance's territories. Some whispered that the Umbra were not defeated but merely regrouping. One day, during a routine analysis, Mira's console alerted her to a disturbance near the site of the original anomaly. She immediately contacted Captain Shaw. We need to investigate this, she urged. He agreed. I'll assemble the crew. The Odyssey is ready. As they prepared to depart, Counselor Merrick contacted them. Captain Shaw, Dr. Elson, we trust your judgment. Proceed with caution. Thank you, Counselor, Shaw replied. We'll keep you informed. As the Odyssey set course for the disturbance, the crew felt a mix of anticipation and apprehension. Mira stood on the bridge, the crystalline device secure in her pocket. She glanced at Captain Shaw. Ready for another journey into the unknown? He smiled confidently. Always. The stars stretched into lines as the ship entered slipstream, heading once more into the shadows across dimensions. The Odyssey surged through slipstream space, stars streaking past as the ship raced toward the newly detected disturbance near the original anomaly site. On the bridge, the atmosphere was a mix of anticipation and tension. The crew had faced the unknown before, but this time felt different, more personal. Dr. Mira Elson stood beside Captain Liam Shaw, her eyes fixed on the swirling patterns displayed on the main view screen. The disturbance manifested as a pulsating vortex of dark energy, reminiscent of the Nexus but with a more ominous hue. Sensors indicate the anomaly is growing at an accelerating rate, reported Ensign Raj Patel, his fingers gliding over the console. At this rate, it could reach critical mass within 48 hours. Lieutenant Kira Simmons added, no signs of Umbra activity yet, but energy readings are off the charts. Captain Shaw glanced at Mira. Thoughts, Doctor? Mira's brow was furrowed in concentration. This could be a residual effect of the Nexus stabilization, or it might be something else entirely. We need more data. Agreed, Shaw replied. Helm, ETA to the anomaly? Approximately 3 hours at current speed, answered the helmsman. Increase to maximum slipstream velocity, Shaw ordered. We need to get there as soon as possible. Aye, Captain. As the engines hummed with increased power, Mira turned to Shaw. I think it's time we consider using the device. He nodded thoughtfully. You believe Echo might have answers? It's possible. He foresaw our previous challenges. Perhaps he anticipated this as well. Shaw gestured toward his ready room. Let's discuss this privately. Inside the captain's ready room, the two sat across from each other at a sleek metallic table. The room was adorned with artifacts from their past missions, tokens of their adventures and the alliances they'd forged. Mira placed the crystalline device on the table. It pulsed softly, emitting a gentle glow that cast intricate patterns on the walls. Have you tried activating it yet? Shaw asked. She shook her head. Not yet. I wanted to wait until we truly needed it. Seems that time has come. Mira took a deep breath and placed her hand over the device. Concentrating, she focused her thoughts on Eco, recalling his luminescent form and the serene presence he exuded. The device responded to her intent, its glow intensifying. The air in the room shimmered, and a familiar voice resonated within their minds. Greetings, Mira Elson, Liam Shaw. A translucent figure materialized, a projection of Eco, his features as radiant as they remembered. Eco, Mira said softly, relief evident in her voice. We feared we might not reach you. I am here, Eco affirmed. Though my existence is now more ethereal, I remain connected to the threads of your dimension. Shaw leaned forward. We've detected a new disturbance near the original anomaly. It resembles the Nexus, but feels different. Echo's expression grew solemn. I have sensed this disruption. It is the work of the Umbra. They seek to exploit the Nexus's energies to forge a bridge into your universe. Mira's eyes widened. But we thought the Umbra were repelled after our last encounter. They were delayed, not defeated, Echo explained. Their nature is to persist. They are drawn to the potential energy that the Nexus represents. How can we stop them? Shaw asked. There is a way, Eco replied, but it will require a deeper understanding of the Umbra and a willingness to confront them directly. Mira exchanged a glance with Shaw. We're prepared to do whatever it takes. Eco's gaze softened. I will guide you, but be warned, the path ahead is fraught with danger, and the choices you make will have lasting consequences. Shaw stood resolute. Understood. We'll face it together. The projection began to fade. I will be with you in spirit. Use the device to reach me when the time comes. As Eco's presence dissipated, the device returned to its dormant state. Mira slipped it back into her pocket. Well, Shaw said, exhaling slowly, looks like we're heading into the lion's den. Mira nodded. We need to inform the crew and prepare accordingly. Back on the bridge, Shaw addressed the senior staff. We've made contact with Eco. The new anomaly is a direct threat, an attempt by the Umbra to breach our universe. A murmur spread through the team. Lieutenant Simmons tightened her jaw. What are our options, Captain? According to Eco, we need to confront the Umbra directly, Mira explained. That means entering the anomaly and disrupting their efforts from within. Chief Engineer Marcus O'Brien raised an eyebrow. Entering the anomaly? With all due respect, the ship barely survived our last encounter. Ensign Raj Patel added, our shields and weapons are calibrated for conventional threats. We don't have defenses against entities like the Umbra. Mira leaned forward. I believe we can modify our deflector array to emit a counter-frequency that could destabilize the Umbra's energy forms. With Eco's guidance, we can adapt our technology to meet this challenge. O'Brien rubbed his chin thoughtfully. It'll be tricky, but not impossible. We'll need to reroute power from non-essential systems and adjust the harmonic resonators. Shaw nodded. Get on it. Time is of the essence. He turned to Simmons. Increase tactical readiness. Prepare for potential hostilities the moment we enter the anomaly. Aye, Captain. In the engineering bay, O'Brien and his team worked feverishly to implement the necessary modifications. Sparks flew as circuits were rerouted and consoles beeped with streams of recalibrated data. Hand me the phase inverter, O'Brien called out. A technician passed him the tool and he deftly connected a series of conduits. That should boost the deflector's output by 30%. Adrian Hayes entered the bay, a datapad in hand. I've synchronized the energy patterns based on Eco's specifications, he announced. This should help us interface with the Umbra's energy fields. O'Brien glanced over the data. Impressive work, Adrian. With this, we might just have a fighting chance. Meanwhile, in the ship's arboretum, Mira sought a moment of solitude. Surrounded by the soothing presence of alien flora, she closed her eyes and reached out mentally, hoping to sense Eco's guidance. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, and she felt a faint whisper in her mind. Trust in your instincts, Mira. The light within you can dispel the shadows. She opened her eyes, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. Rising, she made her way back to the bridge. Approaching the anomaly, the helmsman announced. On the view screen, the swirling vortex dominated the field of vision. Tendrils of dark energy extended outward, like fingers reaching into the void. All stations, report, Shaw commanded. Shields at maximum, Simmons confirmed. Weapons systems primed and ready. Deflector array modifications complete, O'Brien reported over the comm. Science teams are standing by, added Adrian. Mira took her place beside Shaw. We're as ready as we'll ever be, he nodded. Helm, take us in, slow and steady. As the Odyssey entered the anomaly, the ship shuddered slightly. The view screen flickered with distortions and the ambient light dimmed. Structural integrity holding, Raj reported. Energy readings are spiking, Simmons warned. Umbra activity detected. From the darkness, amorphous shapes began to materialize, shadowy figures that shifted and flowed like liquid smoke. They surrounded the ship, their forms pulsating with malevolent intent. Open hailing frequencies, Shaw ordered. Channel open, Elena Martinez confirmed. This is Captain Liam Shaw of the starship Odyssey. We come with peaceful intentions, but will defend ourselves if necessary. The Umbra did not respond verbally, but a surge of energy struck the ship, causing it to lurch. Shields down to 80%. Simmons called out. Activate the deflector array, Mira instructed. Let's see if the modifications work. The deflector dish emitted a beam of shimmering light that cut through the darkness. A Upon contact, the Umbra recoiled, their forms destabilizing momentarily. "It's working," Adrian exclaimed. "Their energy fields are disrupted by the counter-frequency." But the respite was short-lived. The Umbra adapted, reassembling themselves and pressing the attack with renewed vigor. "Shields at 60%, Simmons reported, her voice tense. "Divert auxiliary power to shields," Shaw commanded. "Maintain the deflector pulse." O'Brien's voice crackled over the comm. "Captain, we're pushing the engines to their limits. We can't sustain this level of output indefinitely." Mira concentrated, gripping the crystalline device. "Echo, we need your help." A soft glow emanated from the device, and Echo's voice resonated faintly. "Combine your energies with mine. Together, we can repel them." She turned to Shaw. "We need to amplify the deflector's output using a feedback loop with the ship's core. It will create a harmonic resonance that could drive the Umbra back." "Won't that risk overloading the core?" he asked. "Yes," O'Brien interjected, having overheard, "but it might be our only option." Shaw weighed the risks. Do it. O'Brien and his team sprang into action, rerouting power and adjusting the ship's systems to handle the increased load. "Ready on your command," O'Brien confirmed. "Activate," Shaw ordered. The deflector array glowed intensely, the beam widening and enveloping the ship in a protective aura. The harmonic resonance built, emitting waves of energy that rippled outward. The Umbra shrieked, a piercing sound that reverberated through the ship. Their forms wavered, fragments peeling away and dissolving into the void. "It's working," Raj shouted, but warning alarms blared throughout the ship. "Core temperature rising rapidly," Sora warned. "Critical levels will be reached in 2 minutes. Prepare to vent plasma from the core," O'Brien advised. "It might buy us some time." "Do it," Shaw agreed. Plasma vents opened along the hull, releasing streams of superheated energy. The core's temperature stabilized slightly, but not enough. "Umbra activity is decreasing," Simmons reported. "They're retreating." On the view screen, the shadowy figures dissipated, withdrawing into the depths of the anomaly. "Stand down from red alert," Shaw commanded, "but keep shields up." The crew let out a collective sigh of relief. "Core temperature is still critical," O'Brien reminded them. "We need to shut down the engines." "Helm, bring us to a full stop," Shaw ordered. The ship slowed, the hum of the engines diminishing. Mira closed her eyes, reaching out once more. "Echo, we've driven them back, but the anomaly remains. How do we close it?" Echo's voice was faint. "You must seal the rift from within. The device you hold can channel the necessary energy." She looked at the crystalline object in her hand. "I need to take this to the source of the anomaly." Shaw's expression was resolute. "I'll accompany you." "Captain, I appreciate the offer, but I should go alone. The device responds to me." He shook his head. "I won't let you face this danger by yourself." "Captain?" He held up a hand. "That's an order, Doctor." She smiled softly. "Yes, sir." They prepared a shuttlecraft for the mission. As they boarded, O'Brien handed them portable harmonic resonators. "These should protect you from residual Umbra energy." "Thank you, Marcus," Mira said. "Be careful out there," he replied. The shuttle launched, navigating carefully toward the epicenter of the anomaly. The closer they got, the more distorted reality became. Space twisted, and time seemed to lag and surge unpredictably. "Approaching the rift," Shaw noted, his hands steady on the controls. Mira stood near the viewport, the device glowing brighter with each passing G moment. "I can feel the energy converging here." A sudden jolt rocked the shuttle. "Gravitational fluctuations increasing," Shaw observed. "Hold on." They entered a swirling maelstrom of light and shadow. At the center was a tear in the fabric of space, a gaping void that pulsed with chaotic energy. "This is it," Mira whispered. She activated the device, and a beam of light shot forth, connecting with the edges of the rift. The energy pulse resonated, creating a web of luminescent threads that began to weave the tear back together. But the strain was immense. The shuttle's systems flickered, alarms sounding. "Hull integrity is failing," Shaw warned. "Just a little longer," Mira urged, focusing all her will into the device. The threads tightened, the rift narrowing, the chaotic energy subsided, replaced by a calm, steady glow. "It's working," Shaw said, relief evident in his voice. Suddenly, a shadow emerged from the closing rift, a remnant of the Umbra, desperate to escape its fate. "Look out!" Shaw shouted. The Umbra entity lunged toward them, its form shifting into a spear-like projection. Mira reacted instinctively, raising the device. A barrier of light materialized, deflecting the attack, but the strain was too much. The device cracked, its glow fading. "No!" she cried. The Umbra pressed its advantage, but before it could strike again, a brilliant flash enveloped the shuttle. Eco's form appeared, more radiant than ever. "Begone!" he commanded. The Umbra shrieked and disintegrated, its essence pulled back into the now-sealed rift. "Eco," Mira gasped. "You saved us." He smiled gently. "I could not let harm come to you. But the device, it's broken," she lamented. "Fear not," Eco assured her. "Its purpose is fulfilled, the rift is sealed, and the Umbra are contained." Shaw exhaled deeply. "We couldn't have done this without you." "My time here is limited," Echo said, "but know that our bond transcends dimensions. You have the strength to face whatever comes." Mira felt a surge of emotion. "Will we see you again?" He began to fade. "Perhaps in another time. Farewell, my friends." As Echo vanished, the shuttle's system stabilized. "Let's get back to the Odyssey," Shaw suggested. Mira nodded, still processing the events. Upon their return, they were met with cheers and applause from the crew. "The anomaly has dissipated," Raj reported happily. "All readings are returning to normal." "Excellent work, everyone," Shaw addressed the crew. "We've averted another crisis thanks to your dedication and bravery." In the aftermath, repairs were made, and the ship set course back to the Alliance headquarters. Back on the station, Mira and Shaw presented their report to the Council. This time, the response was overwhelmingly positive. Councillor Merrick commended them. "Your swift actions have prevented a potential disaster. The Council is grateful." Councillor Kaur, previously skeptical, now expressed support. "It's clear that our understanding of interdimensional phenomena is crucial to our security. The Interdimensional Research Division will receive increased funding and resources." Dr. Arya Lentz approached Mira afterward. "You've made significant strides, Dr. Elson. I look forward to collaborating on future projects." "Thank you, Arya," Mira replied warmly. "There's so much more to learn." Later, in a quiet moment, Mira found herself once again in the Arboretum. The loss of the device weighed on her, but she felt a lingering connection to Eco. Adrian joined her. "I heard about what happened. Quite the adventure." "That's one way to put it," she smiled. He gestured to the vibrant plants around them. "You know, these species adapt to their environments in remarkable ways. Perhaps we can learn from them." "Adaptability is key," she agreed, "in science and in life." He gave her a thoughtful look. "So what's next for you?" She gazed out at the stars visible through the transparent dome. "I think it's time to focus on building bridges, between dimensions, between species. There's a universe of possibilities out there." He nodded. "Count me in." As the Odyssey prepared for its next mission, Captain Shaw reflected on their journey. The challenges they faced had strengthened the bonds among the crew and reaffirmed their commitment to exploration and understanding. In his log, he recorded, "Captain's Log, Supplemental. Our recent encounter with the Umbra and the sealing of the rift have reminded us that vigilance and unity are essential in the face of unknown threats. The courage and ingenuity of this crew continue to inspire me. As we set forth into the vast expanse, we carry with us the knowledge that we are not alone, that allies and mysteries await beyond the veil of our understanding. We will face them with open minds and steadfast hearts." He closed the log and looked out at the stars, a sense of purpose settling within him. Thus concludes Chapter 5, where the crew of the Odyssey confronts the resurgence of the Umbra, relies on the guidance of their interdimensional ally Eco, and strengthens their resolve to protect and explore the intricate tapestry of dimensions that lie beyond their own. The Odyssey drifted gracefully through the cosmic expanse, its hull reflecting the soft glow of nearby nebulae. After their recent encounter with the Umbra and the sealing of the rift, the crew had earned a period of respite. However, the mysteries of the universe seldom allowed for prolonged rest. In the ship's conference room, Captain Liam Shaw convened a meeting with his senior officers. The room was illuminated by a holographic star map displaying regions of space marked with various anomalies and points of interest. "Thank you all for joining me," Shaw began, his tone conveying both urgency and intrigue. "We've received a priority transmission from the Intergalactic Alliance headquarters. There's a situation developing that requires our immediate attention." Dr. Mira Elson leaned forward, her curiosity piqued. "What kind of situation, Captain?" Shaw activated a section of the holographic map. A region of space lit up, highlighting a system known as Epsilon Theta. Multiple Alliance outposts along the Epsilon Theta corridor have reported unusual energy fluctuations and unexplained phenomena. Communications have been sporadic, and there's concern that the Umbra might be involved. Lieutenant Kira Simmons furrowed her brow. But we just sealed the rift. How could the Umbra be causing disturbances elsewhere? Ensign Raj Patel, the ship's chief science officer, interjected. It's possible that the Umbra have found alternative means of accessing our dimension, or perhaps residual effects from the Nexus are manifesting in different locations. Chief Engineer Marcus O'Brien chimed in. Either way, it's clear that we need to investigate, and if necessary, intervene. Captain Shaw nodded. Exactly. Our mission is to proceed to Epsilon Theta, assess the situation, and provide assistance as needed. Dr. Adrian Hayes adjusted his glasses thoughtfully. Do we have any information on what kind of phenomena the outposts are experiencing? Shaw pulled up a series of reports. There are accounts of temporal distortions, gravitational anomalies, and sightings of unidentified entities. A quiet settled over the room as the implications sank in. Mira broke the silence. If the Umbra are involved, we need to be prepared. Our previous modifications to the deflector array could prove useful again. O'Brien agreed. I'll start tuning the systems to handle multidimensional energy signatures. Good, Shaw affirmed. We depart immediately. Dismissed. As the crew dispersed to their stations, Mira lingered in the conference room, lost in thought. The prospect of facing the Umbra once more stirred a mix of apprehension and determination within her. Adrian noticed her hesitation and approached. Penny for your thoughts? She offered a faint smile. Just contemplating what we might be up against. Each encounter with the Umbra seems to escalate. He nodded sympathetically. True, but we've learned a lot since our first meeting. We're better equipped now. Perhaps, she mused, but I can't shake the feeling that there's more to this than we realize. Adrian considered her words. You think there's another factor at play? Possibly, she replied. I think it's time we consult the Interdimensional Research Division. They might have insights we've overlooked. Agreed. I'll send a request for the latest data analyses. In the ship's arboretum, a sanctuary of tranquility amid the bustling activity, Mira sought a moment of reflection. The air was rich with the scent of exotic plants, their leaves rustling softly in an artificial breeze. She closed her eyes, focusing inward, and once again attempted to reach out mentally, hoping to sense any lingering connection to Eco. Minutes passed without response. She sighed, accepting that perhaps Eco's guidance would not be available this time. As she turned to leave, she noticed a delicate flower glowing faintly, a species that had not exhibited bioluminescence before. Intrigued, she approached. Eden gently touched its petals. A subtle warmth spread through her fingertips, and a whisper brushed against her consciousness. Seek the convergence. Her eyes widened. Eco? She whispered aloud. But the presence faded, leaving her with the cryptic message echoing in her mind. Back on the bridge, the Odyssey entered slipstream, the stars stretching into elongated streaks as the ship accelerated toward Epsilon Theta. Captain Shaw sat in his command chair, eyes fixed on the view screen. ETA to the Epsilon Theta corridor? Approximately 6 hours, Captain, the helmsman replied. Maintain course and speed. Mira approached him, her expression contemplative. Captain, I believe we might be missing a critical piece of the puzzle. He looked up. Go on. She recounted her experience in the Arboretum. I think Eco, or perhaps another entity, is trying to communicate with us. The message was, seek the convergence. Shaw considered this. Convergence of what? Possibly a point where dimensions intersect more prominently than the Nexus. If the Umbra are focusing their efforts there, it could explain the anomalies. He nodded thoughtfully. Can we identify any such convergence points in the Epsilon Theta region? I've already asked Raj to scan for any unusual dimensional readings, she replied. Good initiative. In the science lab, Raj and Adrian pored over sensor data, algorithms processing vast amounts of information. Wait, Raj said, eyes narrowing as he highlighted a section of the readout. I'm detecting a significant spike in multidimensional harmonics at these coordinates. Adrian examined the data. That's within the Epsilon Theta system, near outpost Zeta 9. Could be our convergence point, Raj suggested. Let's notify the captain. With the new information, Captain Shaw convened another meeting. Based on Dr. Elson's insight and the data from our science team, it appears there's a convergence point near Outpost Zeta 9, Shaw briefed the officers. Our mission is to reach the outpost, determine the extent of the Umbra's activity, and, if possible, neutralize the convergence. Lieutenant Simmons straightened in her seat. Captain, if this convergence is a focal point for the Umbra, we could be facing a larger force than before. Understood, Shaw acknowledged. We'll proceed with caution. Mira added, I recommend we attempt to contact any remaining personnel at Zeta 9 before we arrive. They might have valuable information. Make it so, Shaw agreed. Communications Officer Elena Martinez worked diligently to establish a link with Outpost Zeta 9. Static filled the channel, punctuated by brief bursts of distorted audio. Boosting the signal, Elena reported. I think I've got something. A garbled voice came through. Laced with interference. This is Outpost Zeta 9, condition critical, need immediate assistance. This is the Odyssey, Elena responded. We read you, Zeta 9. What is your situation? Anomalies increasing, personnel affected, reality fluctuations, hurry. The transmission cut off abruptly. Captain Shaw exchanged a grave look with Mira. We're running out of time. Captain, Raj interjected. I'm picking up another ship on long-range scanners. It's the Eclipse, an Alliance vessel assigned to deep space research. Are they responding to hails? Shaw asked. Negative, but their trajectory suggests they're also heading toward Zeta 9. Perhaps they received the same distress call, Mira speculated. Let's try to establish contact, Shaw decided. Elena? Opening a channel now. After a moment, a voice responded. This is Captain Joran Malik of the Eclipse. Who is this? This is Captain Liam Shaw of the Odyssey. We're en route to Outpost Zeta 9 in response to a distress call. Likewise, Malik replied curtly. Be advised, this is a classified operation. Your assistance is not required. Shaw raised an eyebrow. With respect, Captain Malik, the Odyssey has orders from the Intergalactic Alliance Council to investigate the situation. There was a pause. Understood. However, be aware that the Eclipse is equipped to handle these anomalies. It would be best if you maintained a safe distance. The channel closed abruptly. Well, that was cordial, Simmons remarked dryly. Mira frowned. Something's not right. The Eclipse was involved in experimental research on dimensional technologies. If they're here, it could complicate matters. Shaw agreed. We proceed as planned but stay alert. Monitor the Eclipse closely. As the Odyssey approached Epsilon Theta, the visual distortion of space became evident. Swirls of light and shadow intertwined, creating a kaleidoscope effect. Entering the anomaly field, the helmsman reported. Shields up, Shaw ordered. Activate the modified deflector array. O'Brien's voice came over the comm. Deflector array is online and compensating for spatial distortions. Sensors are having difficulty penetrating the interference, Raj noted. But I'm detecting debris, remnants of satellites and small vessels. Casualties of the anomalies, Mira observed somberly. Captain, the Eclipse is altering course, Simmons announced. They're heading directly toward the convergence point. Shaw considered the situation. Helm, follow at a safe distance. Let's see what they're up to. As they closed in on Outpost Zeta 9, the station came into view, a large ring-shaped structure orbiting a barren planet. Electrical surges flickered across its surface, and several sections appeared damaged. No signs of life aboard the outpost, Raj reported, but energy readings are off the scale. The convergence point is directly beneath the station, Adrian added. It's acting as a focal lens for the dimensional energies. The Eclipse positioned itself between the Odyssey and the outpost. Incoming transmission from the Eclipse, Elena relayed. On screen. Captain Malik appeared, his expression stern. Captain Shaw, you are ordered to withdraw immediately. Shaw remained composed. Under whose authority? By order of the Alliance Special Projects Division, Malik stated. This area is under quarantine. Mira whispered to Shaw. Special Projects? That's the Alliance's Black Ops Division. Shaw addressed Malik. Our orders come directly from the Council. Unless you can provide documentation, we cannot comply. Malik's eyes hardened. Very well. You've been warned. The transmission ended. Captain, the Eclipse is powering up weapons, Simmons alerted. Red alert, Shaw declared. Shields to maximum, evasive maneuvers. The Eclipse fired a warning shot, a beam of energy slicing across the Odyssey's bow. "Shields holding," Simmons reported. "Open a channel," Shaw commanded. "No response," Elena replied. "They're jamming communications." "Why are they attacking us?" Raj exclaimed. "Perhaps they have something to hide," Mira suggested grimly. The Odyssey weaved through the anomaly-laden space, avoiding incoming fire from the Eclipse. The crew worked in concert, their training and camaraderie evident in their efficiency. "Return fire," Shaw ordered. "Aim for their weapon systems, but avoid critical damage." "Understood," Simmons acknowledged, targeting the Eclipse's arrays. Phaser beams lanced out, striking the Eclipse and causing minor explosions along its hull. "Enemy shields at 70%, Raj reported. "Captain, we're receiving an encrypted transmission," Elena announced. "It's not coming from the Eclipse." "Source? It's from Outpost Zeta 9. Put it through." A holographic image flickered to life. A figure wearing an Alliance uniform with the insignia of the Special Projects Division. "This is Dr. Lila Kessler," the woman spoke urgently. "If you can hear this, you must stop the Eclipse. They've initiated a protocol that will destabilize the convergence and could trigger a dimensional collapse." Mira's eyes widened. "Captain, we need to get aboard that station." Shaw made a swift decision. "Lieutenant Simmons, intensify fire on the Eclipse to disable their engines. O'Brien, prepare a shuttle for immediate launch. Mira, Adrian, you're with me." As the Odyssey engaged the Eclipse, Shaw and his team boarded the shuttle, navigating through the debris and energy fluctuations toward Outpost Zeta 9. "Approaching the docking bay," Adrian noted, hands steady on the controls despite the turbulent environment. "Scanners show minimal atmosphere and power fluctuations," Mira reported. "Environmental suits are recommended." They donned the suits as the shuttle docked. The airlock cycled, and they entered the dimly lit corridors of the outpost. Sparks flew from exposed conduits, and the hum of overloaded systems filled the air. The team moved cautiously, weapons at the ready. "Which way to Dr. Kessler's last known location?" Shaw asked. "According to the schematics, the control center is this way," Mira indicated. They proceeded through the labyrinthine passageways, encountering no signs of life. "Something doesn't feel right," Adrian whispered. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, a security officer wielding a disruptor pistol. "Hold it right there," he barked. Shaw raised his hands. "We're here to help. Dr. Kessler sent us." The officer hesitated. "You're from the Odyssey?" "Yes. What's going on here?" He lowered his weapon slightly. "The Eclipse's crew have gone rogue. They're trying to harness the convergence for weaponization." Mira's expression turned grim. "That could destabilize the entire region." "Exactly," the officer affirmed. "Dr. Kessler is trying to shut it down, but she needs assistance." "Take us to her," Shaw ordered. They reached the control center to find Dr. Kessler frantically working at a console, sweat glistening on her brow. "Dr. Kessler?" Mira called out. She turned, relief evident in her eyes. "Thank goodness you're here." "What's the situation?" Shaw asked. "The Eclipse initiated a containment field around the convergence to siphon its energy," she explained. "But the field is unstable. If it collapses, it will trigger a chain reaction." "Can we reverse it?" Adrian inquired. "I'm trying," she replied. "But I need access to the primary power relays, which are on the lower decks." "I'll go," Shaw volunteered. Mira stepped forward. "I'll assist Dr. Kessler here." "Be careful," Shaw cautioned. As Shaw and the security officer descended to the lower decks, Mira and Adrian worked alongside Dr. Kessler to stabilize the containment field. "Adjust the phase variance by 0.02, Kessler instructed. Mira input the commands. "Done. Energy levels are still fluctuating." Adrian monitored another console. "Captain, we're detecting increased Umbra activity near the convergence point." Shaw's voice crackled over the comm. "Understood. We're approaching the power relays now." In the relay chamber, Shaw encountered 2 crew members from the Eclipse armed and guarding the controls. "Identify yourself," one demanded. "Captain Liam Shaw of the Odyssey," he stated calmly. "Stand down and let us pass." The men exchanged glances. "Our orders are clear. No one interferes." Shaw sighed. "I was hoping to avoid this." He moved swiftly, disarming the first man with a deft motion. The security officer neutralized the second with a well-placed stun blast. "Let's get those relays offline," Shaw said. They accessed the control panels, working to reroute power away from the containment field. "Captain, the Umbra are attempting to breach the field," Mira reported urgently. Almost there, he responded, fingers flying over the controls. Back in the control center, alarms blared as the containment field flickered. "The field is collapsing," Kessler exclaimed. Mira closed her eyes, focusing her thoughts. "We need Eco's help." Adrian looked at her. "Can you reach him?" "I have to try." She concentrated deeply, reaching out with her mind. Amid the chaos, a familiar warmth enveloped her. "Mira," Echo's voice resonated faintly. "I am here. We need your assistance. The convergence is unstable, and the Umbra are advancing." "I will lend you my strength," he affirmed. "Together, we can restore balance." She opened her eyes, her hands moving over the console with newfound confidence. Energy surged through the systems, stabilizing the containment field. "Energy levels are normalizing," Adrian observed. Astonished, Kessler glanced at Mira. "How did you do that?" "It's a long story," Mira replied with a slight smile. Shaw's voice came over the comm. "We've shut down the power relays. How are things up there?" "Under control," Mira answered. "But we need to seal the convergence point." "On our way back," he confirmed. As Shaw and the security officer made their way back, they encountered Captain Malik, his expression twisted with determination. "You're interfering with matters beyond your understanding," Malik snarled, weapon drawn. Shaw faced him unflinchingly. "You're endangering countless lives. Stand down." "I won't let you ruin this opportunity," Malik hissed. "The power here could ensure the Alliance's dominance." "At what cost?" Shaw challenged. Malik raised his weapon, but before he could fire, the security officer stunned him with a quick shot. "Thank you," Shaw said. "No problem, Captain." Reunited in the control center, the team worked to seal the convergence. "Echo is guiding us," Mira explained. "We need to reverse the polarity of the containment field to push the dimensions back apart." "Let's do it," Kessler agreed. Together, they initiated the sequence. The station trembled as energies built up, the convergence point shrinking. "Umbra activity is decreasing," Adrian reported. "Containment field is holding," Kessler confirmed. Finally, the convergence point collapsed, leaving only residual energy readings. "It's done," Mira said, relief washing over her. Back on the Odyssey, the crew debriefed. "Captain Malik and his conspirators will be taken into custody," Shaw informed the senior staff. "Dr. Kessler has agreed to cooperate fully with the Alliance investigation." "Excellent outcome," Simmons remarked. "Thanks to everyone's efforts," Shaw acknowledged. Mira added, "Eco's assistance was invaluable once again. We owe him a great deal." "Indeed," Shaw agreed, "but I have a feeling we're not quite done with these interdimensional challenges." Later, in her quarters, Mira reflected on the day's events. She reached out mentally, sensing Eco's distant presence. "Thank you," she conveyed silently. His response was gentle. "Our journeys are intertwined. Until next time." She smiled softly, feeling a sense of peace. In the captain's log, Shaw recorded, "Our mission to Epsilon Theta has revealed complexities within the Alliance and the ongoing threat posed by the Umbra. The actions of Captain Malik and the Special Projects Division highlight the need for transparency and ethical considerations in all our endeavors. Moving forward, we must remain vigilant not only against external threats, but also against the temptations of power within ourselves. The strength of the Odyssey's crew lies in our unity and commitment to doing what is right. As we continue to explore the shadows across dimensions, we will uphold the principles that define us." The Odyssey cruised silently through the depths of space, leaving behind the tumultuous events of Epsilon Theta. The crew had earned a moment of respite, but the universe had other plans. Unbeknownst to them, the fabric of reality was beginning to fray in ways even Echo had not foreseen. In the ship's mess hall, laughter and chatter filled the air as crew members enjoyed a rare moment of relaxation. Dr. Mira Elson sat at a corner table with Dr. Adrian Hayes, their trays laden with an eclectic mix of interstellar cuisine. "You have to try the Rigelian spiced tea," Adrian suggested, pushing a steaming cup toward Mira. "It's supposed to enhance cognitive function." She raised an eyebrow. "And here I thought you just liked it for the taste," he grinned. "That too." Mira took a sip, the warm liquid tingling on her tongue. "Not bad. Maybe it'll help me make sense of these latest data readings." Adrian leaned in. "Still puzzling over the anomalies we detected during the Epsilon Theta mission?" She nodded, her expression thoughtful. "There's something off. The energy signatures don't match any known Umbra patterns. It's as if another force is at play." Before Adrian could respond, The ship's intercom chimed. "All senior staff, please report to the conference room." Captain Shaw's voice resonated throughout the hall. Mira and Adrian exchanged a glance. "Duty calls," he remarked. In the conference room, the atmosphere was tense. Captain Liam Shaw stood at the head of the table, his gaze serious. Lieutenant Kira Simmons, Ensign Raj Patel, Chief Engineer Marcus O'Brien, and Communications Officer Elena Martinez were already seated, their expressions mirroring the captain's gravity. "Thank you for coming promptly," Shaw began as Mira and Adrian took their seats. "We've received an urgent communiqué from the Intergalactic Alliance. Multiple outposts along the outer rim have gone dark. No distress signals, no warnings, just silence." A hush fell over the room. "Do we know the cause?" Mira asked. "That's what we're here to determine," Shaw replied. "Preliminary reports indicate that the disappearances coincide with spikes in multidimensional energy. However, these spikes are unlike anything we've seen before." Raj brought up a holographic display of the affected regions. "These are the outposts that have vanished. Notice anything?" Adrian studied the map. "They're all located near areas where the fabric of space is already weak, places where the Nex had indirect influence." "Exactly," Raj confirmed. "But here's the twist. The energy signatures are not consistent with Umbra activity." O'Brien folded his arms. "If it's not the Umbra, then who or what is responsible?" Shaw's expression hardened. "That's what we need to find out. Our mission is to investigate the last known coordinates of Outpost Helios 3, the most recent to go dark," Elena interjected. "Captain, we've also intercepted fragmented transmissions. They mentioned something called the Veil." "The Veil?" Mira repeated, intrigued. "Any idea what that refers to?" Elena shook her head. "The messages are too distorted to make out more details." "Then our first priority is to reach Helios 3 and gather any information we can," Shaw decided. "Prepare for departure immediately." As the crew dispersed to their stations, Mira caught up with Shaw in the corridor. "Captain, may I have a word?" He nodded. "Of course." She lowered her voice. "I have a feeling that Eco might have insights into these events. Given our past experiences, it's possible that this veil is connected to the interdimensional fabric." Shaw considered her suggestion. "Agreed. Can you attempt to reach him?" "I'll try," she affirmed. In her quarters, Mira sat cross-legged on her bed, the dim lighting creating an atmosphere conducive to deep focus. She closed her eyes, steadying her breathing, and reached out with her mind. "Eiko, can you hear me?" At first there was only silence. Then a faint J. Low appeared in her mind's eye, growing brighter until Eiko's familiar presence enveloped her. "Mira," his voice echoed gently, "I have been expecting your call." She sensed an undercurrent of urgency. "Eiko, outposts along the outer rim are disappearing. There's mention of something called the Veil. Do you know what this means?" Eiko's luminescence flickered, a sign of concern. "The Veil is a barrier, a membrane that separates dimensions. It was constructed eons ago by ancient beings to protect realms from interdimensional threats." "Why is it causing outposts to vanish?" "The Veil is weakening," Eiko explained. "As it unravels, it consumes matter to sustain itself, pulling objects and beings into interdimensional voids." Mira's heart sank. "Can it be repaired?" "Possibly," he replied. "But it would require a convergence of energies from multiple dimensions, a feat not easily accomplished." "Will you help us?" Eiko hesitated. "I am constrained by forces beyond my control. My influence is limited in areas where the Veil is compromised." "Then we'll find another way," Mira resolved. Eiko's presence began to fade. "Beware, Mira. There are others who seek to exploit the Veil's weakness for their own gain. Trust cautiously." "Wait, who are they?" she pressed, but Eiko was gone. Back on the bridge, the Odyssey was en route to Helios 3. Mira briefed Shaw and the senior staff on her conversation with Eiko. "So the Veil is a protective barrier that's failing," Shaw summarized. "And there may be malevolent forces at work." "That's correct," Mira confirmed. "We need to be vigilant." "Captain," Raj called from his station, "we're approaching the coordinates of Helios 3. "On screen," Shaw ordered. The view screen displayed an unsettling sight. The space where Helios 3 should have been was empty. No debris, no signs of destruction, just a void. "Scans?" Shaw prompted. Raj shook his head in disbelief. "No trace of the outpost or its inhabitants. It's as if they were never here." "That's impossible," O'Brien muttered. "Wait," Mira said, studying the sensor data. I'm detecting residual energy patterns consistent with dimensional displacement. Meaning? Simmons asked. Meaning the outpost wasn't destroyed, it was moved, Mira explained, pulled into another dimension. Can we track where it went? Shaw inquired. Possibly, Raj replied, but we'd need to get closer to the epicenter of the energy readings. Helm, bring us in, Shaw commanded. Proceed with caution. As the Odyssey advanced, the ship began to experience subtle fluctuations. Lights flickered, and the hum of the engines wavered. Engineering report, Shaw barked. O'Brien's voice came over the comm. Captain, we're encountering spatial distortions affecting the warp core. Compensating now. Maintain course, Shaw instructed. Mira's console beeped urgently. Captain, I'm picking up a structure ahead. It's enormous. On screen. The view screen shifted to reveal a colossal translucent web stretching across space, a shimmering tapestry of energy strands pulsating with eerie light. Is that the veil? Adrian wondered aloud. Most likely a manifestation of it, Mira confirmed, but it's deteriorating. Captain, Simmons interjected, we're detecting a ship on the other side of the structure. It's of unknown configuration. Are they scanning us? Shaw asked. Negative, she replied, but their energy output is increasing. Elena turned from her station. Incoming transmission from the unknown vessel. Let's hear it, Shaw decided. A disembodied voice filled the bridge, smooth yet commanding. Intergalactic Alliance vessel, you are trespassing in restricted space. Withdraw immediately or face consequences. Shaw stood firm. This is Captain Liam Shaw of the Odyssey. We are on a mission of exploration and assistance. Identify yourself. There was a pause before the voice responded. We are the Collectors, Guardians of the Veil. Your presence here is a violation. Guardians? Mira whispered, exchanging a glance with Adrian. Perhaps they are the others Echo warned about, Adrian suggested quietly. Shaw addressed the voice. Our sensors indicate that the veil is destabilizing. We seek to repair it to prevent further loss of life. Your interference is unnecessary, the voice replied coldly. Leave now. Captain, Raj whispered urgently. Their weapon systems are powering up. Shields up, Shaw ordered. Red alert. The Odyssey braced as the Collector's ship fired a warning shot, a beam of concentrated energy that sizzled past their starboard side. Shields holding, Simmons reported, but their weaponry is highly advanced. Open a channel, Shaw commanded. Channel open, Elena confirmed. Collectors, we have no desire for conflict, Shaw asserted, but we cannot stand by while lives are at risk. Your altruism is misguided, the voice retorted. The veil's consumption is a necessary process. Mira's eyes widened. They're allowing the veil to absorb matter intentionally. Why would they do that? O'Brien asked incredulously. Perhaps to harness the energy, Adrian speculated, or to prevent something worse. Captain, we can't let them continue, Mira urged. Shaw nodded. Agreed. He turned to Simmons. Target their weapons arrays. Disable but do not destroy. Aye, Captain. The Odyssey maneuvered deftly, firing precision shots that struck the Collector's ship. Explosions rippled across its hull, but the vessel remained operational. They're deploying drones, Raj alerted. Swarms of small, agile craft emerged, encircling the Odyssey. Engage evasive pattern Delta, Shaw ordered. All hands, brace for impact. The drones fired volleys of energy blasts, peppering the Odyssey's shields. Shields at 80%, Simmons reported. Return fire, Shaw commanded. Focus on the drones. As the battle intensified, Mira worked feverishly at her station. Captain, if we can emit a multidimensional pulse calibrated to the veil's frequency, we might disrupt the Collector's control over it. Can you make it happen? He asked. With O'Brien's help, yes, she affirmed. Do it. In engineering, O'Brien coordinated with Mira over the comms. Rerouting power to the deflector array. This is going to push the engines to their limits. Understood, she acknowledged, initiating pulse sequence. Back on the bridge, the ship shook violently as another barrage hit. Shields down to 60%, Simmons reported, sweat glistening on her brow. Any time now, Mira, Shaw urged. Almost there, she replied, fingers flying over the controls. Pulse ready, O'Brien confirmed. Engage, Shaw ordered. The Odyssey emitted a brilliant wave of energy, spreading outward and enveloping the veil. The structure shimmered, its threads vibrating in response. Collectors' ship is experiencing power fluctuations, Raj noted. Their drones are disengaging. On the view screen, the enemy vessel faltered, its lights flickering. Incoming transmission, Elena announced. The voice returned, now strained. What have you done? We've disrupted your hold over the veil, Shaw stated. Stand down. There was a moment of silence before the voice replied, its tone softer. You do not understand the consequences of your actions. Then enlighten us, Mira pressed. The collector's representative hesitated. The veil is not merely a barrier, it is a seal. Beyond it lies a realm of chaos, containing entities that would consume all realities. Eco's warning echoed in Mira's mind. Captain, they might be telling the truth. Shaw considered this. Why absorb our outposts and people? The veil requires energy to maintain its integrity, the voice explained. We sacrifice the few to save the many. That's not a choice you are entitled to make. Not Shaw countered firmly. An alarm sounded on Raj's console. Captain, new dimensional rifts are forming. Something is coming. Through. Visuals, Shaw demanded. The view screen displayed swirling vortices opening in space. From them emerged colossal shadowy forms, their shapes defying comprehension. Mira's blood ran cold. Those must be the entities the collectors spoke of. All ships in the area are at risk, Simmons warned. We need to act fast. Collector's ship is re-engaging their systems, Raj reported. They're focusing on the rifts. The voice returned over the comm. Help us restore the veil, and we may yet prevent catastrophe. Shaw glanced at Mira. Can we trust them? She weighed the options. We may not have a choice. Eco did warn of others exploiting the veil's weakness. Shaw nodded decisively. Collectors, we're willing to cooperate. Tell us what needs to be done. Synchronize your deflector array with ours, the voice instructed. Together, we can generate the necessary energy to mend the veil. O'Brien, you heard them, Shaw relayed. Adjusting frequencies now, O'Brien confirmed. As the two ships worked in tandem, the rifts widened and the monstrous entities drew closer. Their very presence caused space to warp, and the Odyssey systems flickered under the strain. Energy levels critical, Raj warned. Hold it together, Shaw encouraged. Deflector arrays synchronized, Mira announced, initiating veil restoration sequence. A surge of power coursed through both ships, and beams of energy lanced out, weaving new threads into the veil. The structure began to regenerate, its glow intensifying. The entities roared, an otherworldly sound that reverberated through the ship. Rifts are closing, Simmons reported. They're being pushed back. Keep the power steady, Shaw urged. Gradually, the veil reformed, sealing the breaches. The shadowy entities faded from view, their access denied. Veil integrity restored, Raj confirmed, letting out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. The bridge erupted in subdued cheers. The collector's ship powered down its weapons, and a new transmission came through. Your assistance was unexpected, the voice admitted. Perhaps we misjudged you. Likewise, Shaw replied. We apologize for the earlier conflict. There is much you do not know, the voice continued, but perhaps there is room for dialogue. Mira stepped forward. We welcome the opportunity to learn and cooperate. Very well, the voice agreed. We propose a meeting to discuss how our peoples might coexist and protect the veil together. Shaw exchanged a hopeful glance with Mira. We accept. Later, aboard the Odyssey, representatives of the collectors met with the senior staff. The collectors appeared humanoid but possessed an ethereal quality, their eyes shimmering with a depth of ages. We are the custodians of the veil, their leader introduced himself as Alaric. Our purpose has always been to safeguard the multiverse from the threats that lie beyond. Why the secrecy and aggression? Mira inquired gently. Isolation has been our way for millennia, Alaric explained. We believe that involving others would risk exposure and interference. Yet, by working together, we've proven that collaboration strengthens our defenses, Shaw pointed out. Alaric inclined his head. Indeed, your actions have demonstrated the value of alliance. The discussions continued, laying the groundwork for a partnership between the Intergalactic Alliance and the Custodians. In the quiet aftermath, Mira found herself once again in the Arboretum, gazing at the stars through the transparent dome. Adrian joined her, a contemplative look on his face. Quite the day, he remarked. She smiled softly, to say the least. Who knew that the veil existed or that there were beings dedicated to protecting it? There's so much we still don't understand, she mused, but every step brings us closer. Adrian looked at her thoughtfully. Do you ever wonder where all this will lead? All the time, she admitted. But I have faith that as long as we approach the unknown with respect and a willingness to learn, we'll find our way. He nodded, content in her optimism. Here's to the journey ahead. She raised an imaginary glass. To the journey. In his quarters, Captain Shaw recorded his log. Captain's log, supplemental. Today's events have broadened our understanding of the multiverse and our place within it. The revelation of the custodians and the existence of the Veil present both new challenges and opportunities. We have taken the first steps toward a new alliance, one that could safeguard not just our universe but countless others. Trust will need to be built, and questions remain, but I am confident in our ability to navigate these uncharted waters. As we continue to explore the shadows across dimensions, we must remain vigilant, curious, and above all, united. He paused, reflecting on the weight of responsibility, then added, End log. The Odyssey sailed through the star-speckled canvas of space, its course set for the Intergalactic Alliance headquarters. The recent alliance with the Custodians had been a monumental achievement, promising a new era of cooperation in safeguarding the Veil and, by extension, the multiverse. Yet, as the ship journeyed onward, an undercurrent of unease began to ripple through the crew. In the ship's briefing room, Captain Liam Shaw stood before his senior officers, a holographic projection of the Veil rotating slowly above the central table. The atmosphere was contemplative, tinged with the weight of their newfound responsibilities. According to the Custodians, Shaw began, the Veil is stable for now, but they warn that other fractures may exist in different sectors. Our mission is to report back to the Alliance and propose a joint task force dedicated to monitoring and protecting the Veil. Dr. Mira Elson nodded thoughtfully. It's imperative that we share our knowledge with the Alliance's scientific community. The more minds working on this, the better our chances of reinforcing the Veil permanently. Lieutenant Kira Simmons leaned forward. Captain, I've been reviewing our encounter logs. There's something off about the Custodians' ship configurations and energy signatures. They don't match any known patterns, even accounting for advanced technology. Ensign Raj Patel added, I noticed anomalies as well. Their energy readings fluctuate in a way that's inconsistent with stable reactors. It's almost as if their ships are alive. Shaw raised an eyebrow. Alive? In what sense? Raj hesitated. It's speculative, but the energy patterns resemble bioorganic processes more than mechanical ones. Dr. Adrian Hayes chimed in. If their technology is bioorganic, that could explain the discrepancies. It also raises questions about their origins and true capabilities. Mira exchanged a glance with Adrian. Eco mentioned that there were others who might exploit the Veil. While the Custodians have aided us, we should remain cautious. Shaw nodded. Agreed. We need to learn more about our new allies while ensuring that we're not inadvertently exposing ourselves to new risks. Later, in the ship's arboretum, Mira sought solace among the vibrant flora. The gentle hum of the ship faded into the background as she focused her thoughts, attempt to reach out to Echo once more. Echo, are you there? A soft luminescence enveloped her consciousness, and Echo's serene voice echoed in her mind. Mira, your thoughts are troubled. She sighed inwardly. We've allied with the Custodians, but doubts are surfacing about their true intentions. Do you know more about them? Echo's presence flickered. The Custodians are ancient beings with a singular purpose, to protect the Veil. Their methods, however, have sometimes been extreme. How? They believe in absolute preservation, even if it means sacrificing individual lives or freedoms. Their history includes instances of overriding the autonomy of lesser civilizations for what they perceive as the greater good. Mira felt a chill. So they might not hesitate to control or manipulate us if they deem it necessary. That is a possibility, Echo affirmed. Exercise caution and seek the truth. Not all shadows hide enemies, but not all allies stand in the light. Before she could ask more, Echo's presence faded, leaving her with more questions than answers. The next day, the Odyssey arrived at the Intergalactic Alliance headquarters, a sprawling space station that glittered against the backdrop of the planet below. As the ship docked, preparations were made for a summit between the Alliance leadership and the Custodians. In a grand conference hall adorned with emblems of the member worlds, representatives gathered. The Custodians, led by Alaric, stood opposite the Alliance Council members. Captain Shaw, Dr. Mira Elson, and other senior officers took their places alongside. E-Council. Counselor Selena Merrick opened the proceedings. We welcome our esteemed guests, the custodians, and express our gratitude for their cooperation in recent events. Alaric inclined his head. We are honored to stand beside the Intergalactic Alliance in the defense of the multiverse. Counselor Thalos Kor eyed the custodians skeptically. While we appreciate your assistance, we have concerns regarding the incidents involving the disappearances of our outposts. Alaric's expression remained neutral. The absorption of matter was a regrettable necessity to maintain the Veil's integrity. Without such measures, the consequences would have been catastrophic. Mira couldn't contain herself. With respect, there must be alternatives that don't involve sacrificing innocent lives. Alaric turned his gaze to her. Doctor, the Veil's demands are not negotiable. Energy is required, and we utilize what is available. Counselor Amara Voss interjected. Perhaps if we pooled our resources, we could find a more humane solution. Alaric's eyes narrowed slightly. Our methods have preserved countless realities for eons. Change introduces risk. Shaw sensed the growing tension. Open collaboration could lead to innovations neither of our peoples could achieve alone. Alaric considered this. We will take your proposal under advisement. After the summit, Shaw and Mira met privately in a quiet chamber overlooking the station's central atrium. That didn't go as smoothly as I'd hoped, Shaw admitted. Mira crossed her arms, concern etched on her face. Echo warned me that the custodians might have their own agenda. I fear they may not be as willing to cooperate as they claim. Shaw sighed. We need more information. Perhaps we can access their historical records or find another way to learn about their true intentions. Agreed, Mira said. I'll reach out to our contacts in the Interdimensional Research Division. Meanwhile, on the Odyssey, Ensign Raj Patel and Lieutenant Kira Simmons continued analyzing the data collected from the custodians' ships. Look at this. Raj pointed at a complex waveform on his console. These energy patterns correspond to neural activity. Simmons frowned. Are you suggesting their ships are sentient? Possibly, Raj replied. And if so, that raises ethical questions about their use of such technology. Simmons tapped her communicator. We need to inform the captain. In the station's data archives, Mira and Adrian accessed restricted files with the help of Dr. Arya Lentz from the Interdimensional Research Division. These records are fragments collected from various sources, Arya explained. They might shed light on the custodians' history. As they sifted through the data, a troubling narrative emerged. The custodians had, in the past, enforced their will upon civilizations that resisted their methods, sometimes leading to the subjugation or eradication of entire species. Adrian leaned back, rubbing his temples. This is worse than we thought. Mira's eyes hardened. We need to bring this to the council immediately. Before they could act, an alarm resonated throughout the station. Emergency lights flashed and a voice echoed over the intercom. Attention all personnel. Unauthorized access detected in the station's core systems. Security teams report to your stations. Shaw's communicator chirped. Captain, this is O'Brien. We've detected breaches in the station's mainframe originating from the custodians' delegation. Understood, Shaw replied grimly. All senior staff converge on the main operations center. In the operations center, chaos reigned. Technicians scrambled to regain control of compromised systems, and security officers coordinated efforts to locate the intruders. Shaw, Myra, and Adrian arrived to find Counselor Merrick directing the response. Captain Shaw, the custodians have infiltrated our core systems, she briefed them. They're attempting to override command protocols. Mira's expression was resolute. We have evidence that they may intend to take control of the station and possibly the entire Alliance network. Merrick's eyes widened. On what grounds? Adrian quickly summarized their findings. Their history suggests a pattern of domination under the guise of protection. Shaw clenched his jaw. We need to stop them now. The custodians, anticipating resistance, had activated energy barriers throughout the station, cutting off critical sections and trapping key personnel. O'Brien's voice came over the comm. Captain, they've locked down engineering. We can't access the main power controls. Can you override the barriers? Shaw asked. Working on it, but it'll take time. Mira turned to Raj. Is there a way to disrupt their control remotely? Raj nodded slowly. If we can upload a counter-signal into the station's network, it might nullify their commands. Do it, Shaw ordered. Simmons, assemble a security team and prepare to confront the custodians directly. As chaos unfolded, Alaric appeared on the station's holographic display. Members of the Intergalactic Alliance, his voice echoed. We regret that it has come to this, but your refusal to cooperate leaves us no choice. For the greater good, we will assume control to ensure the Veil's preservation. Merrick stepped forward. You have no right to seize our station or dictate terms. Alaric's gaze was impassive. Rights are a construct of the individual. Our mandate transcends such notions. Shaw glared at the image. We won't stand by while you subvert our autonomy. Resistance is futile, Alaric stated calmly, but if you cease hostilities, we can avoid unnecessary loss of life. In the depths of the station, Mira and Adrian worked feverishly with Raj to implement the counter-signal. The air was thick with tension as they navigated the complex code. Almost there, Raj muttered, fingers flying over the keyboard. Adrian monitored the progress. Custodian's encryption is advanced, but I think we've found a vulnerability. Mira closed her eyes briefly, reaching out mentally. Eiko, if you can hear me, we need your help. A faint warmth brushed her consciousness. I am here, Mira. Can you interfere with the custodian's control systems? Eiko's response was hesitant. My abilities are limited within their technology, but I can create a distraction. Please, anything you can do. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the energy barriers wavered. O'Brien's voice crackled over the comm. Captain, some of the barriers are down. We're regaining access to key systems. Shaw seized the opportunity. Security teams, move in and secure the station. Simmons led her team through the corridors, encountering pockets of resistance from custodian operatives. Phaser fire illuminated the passageways as confrontations erupted. Set weapons to stun, Simmons ordered. We need to capture them for questioning. In the operations center, Raj exclaimed, Counter signal uploaded. We have control of the mainframe. Merrick issued commands to isolate the custodian's access points. Lock them out completely. Alaric's holographic imagery appeared, a hint of frustration now evident. You are jeopardizing the safety of your own reality. Cease this at once. Shaw faced him squarely. We are open to cooperation, but we will not surrender our freedom. Alaric's expression hardened. So be it. A deep rumble shook the station. Raj checked his readings. They've activated a device, a dimensional disruptor. It's destabilizing the veil from within the station. Mira's heart pounded. If they rupture the veil here, it could annihilate us all. Shaw made a swift decision. We need to find and deactivate that device. Adrian pulled up schematics. It's likely in the central fusion chamber, highly secured. Let's move, Shaw commanded. Navigating through the labyrinthine corridors, Shaw, Mira, Adrian, and a contingent of security officers raced against time. Alaric and several custodian guards stood between them and the fusion chamber. Stand aside, Shaw demanded. Alaric regarded them coolly. You leave us no choice. The veil must be protected, even at the cost of this station. Mira stepped forward. There are alternatives. Let us work together to find a solution that doesn't involve destruction. Alaric's gaze softened momentarily. Your resolve is admirable, but misguided. Before he could act, Eiko's ethereal form materialized between the two groups. Enough. Eiko's voice resonated with authority. Alaric, your methods are flawed. The veil's preservation does not require such extremity. Alaric recoiled slightly. Eiko, you interfere in matters beyond your purview. On the contrary, Eiko replied, I exist between dimensions, connected to the very fabric you seek to protect. There is another way. Shaw and Mira exchanged astonished glances. Alaric hesitated. Explain. Eiko extended his hands. Combine our energies to reinforce the veil without sacrificing this station or its people. It requires trust and collaboration. Alaric's expression was conflicted. Our histories warn against such risks. Mira seized the moment. The greatest risk is failing to adapt. We can achieve more together than alone. A tense silence followed. Finally, Alaric nodded slowly. Very well, we will attempt your method. In the fusion chamber, Eiko, Alaric, and Mira synchronized their energies. The chamber hummed with power as streams of light intertwined, forming intricate patterns that resonated with the veil's frequency. Raj monitored the readings from the operations center. Energy levels are stabilizing. The veil's integrity is increasing. Throughout the station, the lingering tensions eased as systems returned to normal. Hours later, the Alliance and the custodians reconvened. Alaric addressed the assembly. We acknowledge that our approach was uncompromising. Eco and Dr. Elson have shown us that cooperation is not only possible, but beneficial. Counselor Merrick responded graciously. We appreciate your willingness to reconsider. Let this be the start of a genuine partnership. Shaw added, together we can develop sustainable methods to protect the Veil and explore the multiverse responsibly. Alaric inclined his head. Agreed. In the aftermath, Mira and Echo met privately in the Arboretum. Thank you for intervening, she said sincerely. It was necessary, Echo replied. The balance must be maintained, but not at the expense of life and freedom. She smiled softly. Will you stay with us a while longer? Echo's luminescence flickered warmly. For now, there is much to do, and I believe our paths will continue to cross. Back aboard the Odyssey, the crew prepared for their next mission. Shaw stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars. Set a course for the Caldara expanse, he ordered. There's a lot more out there to discover. Mira joined him, a sense of optimism in her eyes. The journey continues, he nodded. And with allies like Eco, and even the custodians, we're better equipped to face whatever comes next. She agreed. Together, we can navigate even the deepest shadows. In his log, Shaw recorded, Captain's Log Supplemental. Today's events have reinforced the importance of understanding and cooperation. While the custodians' initial actions threatened our safety, we've reached a new understanding that promises a more collaborative future. Eco's continued presence is a beacon of hope and a reminder of the interconnectedness of all things. As we venture deeper into the unknown, we carry with us the lessons learned, that vigilance must be balanced with openness, and that unity is our greatest strength. The multiverse is vast, and its mysteries many, but with determination and integrity, we will face whatever challenges lie ahead. He closed the log, a sense of resolve settling over him. The vast expanse of the Caldara expanse unfolded before the Odyssey, its swirling nebulae and clusters of newly formed stars painting a mesmerizing tapestry across the viewscreen. The ship cruised at a steady pace, its hull gleaming against the backdrop of interstellar clouds. The crew was abuzz with anticipation, eager to explore this uncharted region and uncover its secrets. In the ship's observation lounge, Dr. Mira Elson stood gazing out at the cosmic vista, her thoughts drifting between the wonders ahead and the challenges they'd recently overcome. Footsteps approached, and she turned to see Captain Liam Shaw joining her, 2 steaming cups in hand. Thought you might need a pick-me-up, he said, offering her one of the cups. She accepted it with a grateful smile. Thank you, Captain. Hard to believe how far we've come. He sipped his drink thoughtfully. Indeed, from first contact with Eco to navigating the complexities with the custodians, it's been quite a journey. Mira's gaze returned to the stars. I can't shake the feeling that everything we've experienced is leading us toward something significant. Shaw raised an eyebrow. A premonition? Perhaps, she mused. Or maybe it's just the scientist in me looking for patterns. Before he could respond, the ship's intercom chimed. Captain Shaw and Dr. Elson, please report to the bridge, Lieutenant Kira Simmons's voice announced, tinged with urgency. Exchanging a quick glance, they set down their cups and made their way to the bridge. Upon arrival, they found the bridge crew tense and focused. Ensign Raj Patel was intently studying his console, while Simmons stood poised at the tactical station. Report, Shaw commanded, taking his seat. Raj turned, his expression a mix of excitement and concern. Captain, we're detecting a massive energy signature approximately 0.5 light-years ahead. It's unlike anything we've encountered, off the scale. Mira moved to his station, eyes scanning the data. These readings, they resemble the energy patterns of the Veil, but exponentially stronger. Simmons added, we're also picking up intermittent signals, possible distress calls, but heavily distorted. Shaw leaned forward. Can you clean up the signals? Communications officer Elena Martinez shook her head. I've been trying, Captain, but the interference is severe. Whatever's out there is causing significant subspace disruptions. Helm, reduce speed, Shaw ordered. Let's approach cautiously. Aye, Captain, the helmsman acknowledged, the hum of the engines softening as the Odyssey slowed. Mira tapped her communicator. Adrian, report to the bridge immediately. Within moments, Dr. Adrian Hayes arrived, slightly out of breath. What's the situation? She briefed him quickly, and he joined her at the science station. Could this be another fracture in the Veil? he speculated. Possibly, Mira replied, but the energy levels suggest something even more profound. Raj interjected, I'm also detecting traces of tachyon emissions and gravimetric distortions. It's like space-time is being twisted. Shaw considered their assessments. Options? Mira glanced at him. We need more data. I recommend sending a probe to gather closer readings before we proceed. Agreed, Shaw said. Ensign Patel, prepare a Class 5 probe with enhanced shielding. Launch when ready. Yes, Captain, Raj responded, initiating the probe's launch sequence. As the probe advanced toward the anomaly, the crew monitored its telemetry intently. Data streamed in, filling the screens with complex graphs and fluctuating readings. Probe is entering the periphery of the energy field. Raj reported. Adrian analyzed the incoming information. These energy fluctuations are astonishing. It's as if multiple dimensions are converging at a single point. Mira's eyes widened. A convergence point of dimensions? That could explain the anomalies. Suddenly, the probe's visual feed activated, displaying a breathtaking yet unsettling sight. A colossal structure hovered in the void, a swirling vortex of light and shadow, interlaced with streams of energy that pulsed rhythmically. What in the world? Simmons whispered. Elena's console beeped urgently. Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the probe. It's not automated. It's a message. From whom? Shaw asked. She looked up, perplexed. It's from Eco. A hush fell over the bridge. Put it on speakers, Shaw instructed. Eco's familiar, ethereal voice resonated throughout the bridge. Greetings, crew of the Odyssey. If you are hearing this, then the time has come for the convergence of destinies. Mira exchanged a stunned glance with Shaw. Eco knew we'd find this. The message continued. Ahead lies the Nexus point, a nexus not only of dimensions but of fate. Forces beyond comprehension are at play, and the balance of the multiverse hangs in the balance. Proceed with caution, and know that you are not alone. The transmission ended, leaving the crew in contemplative silence. Shaw broke the quiet. Thoughts? Mira gathered herself. The Nexus point must be a juncture where multiple dimensions intersect more directly than the veil itself. If so, it could be both a source of immense knowledge and incredible danger. Adrian nodded. It's possible that disturbances in the veil have led to this convergence, and perhaps Eco anticipated that we might be able to influence the outcome. Simmons cautioned, Captain, we don't know what we're walking into. This could be a trap or a situation beyond our capability to handle. Shaw weighed their input. Our mandate is to explore and protect. We can't turn away now, but we will proceed with the utmost caution. Simmons, keep weapons systems on standby. Patel, monitor all readings closely. Mira, Adrian, I need you to devise contingencies for potential scenarios. Understood, they replied in unison. As the Odyssey advanced toward the Nexus point, the ship's systems began to experience fluctuations. Lights flickered and the hum of the engines wavered. Engineering, report, Shaw demanded over the intercom. Chief Engineer Marcus O'Brien responded, Captain, we're experiencing power fluctuations across multiple systems. The anomaly is interfering with our warp core containment field. Can you compensate? Attempting to reroute power through secondary conduits, but it's a temporary fix at best. Shaw turned to Mira. Ideas? She analyzed the data streaming across her console. If we adjust our shield harmonics to align with the anomaly's energy patterns, it might reduce the interference. Make it happen, Shaw ordered. Mira and Adrian worked swiftly and inputting calculations and modifying the shield frequencies. Shield adjustments complete, Adrian confirmed. The ship stabilized, the lights returning to normal. Good work, Shaw acknowledged. Raj's console emitted a sharp beep. Captain, we're detecting vessels emerging from the anomaly. On screen. The view screen revealed a fleet of ships materializing from the swirling energies. Their designs were diverse, some sleek and advanced, others rugged and battle-worn, bearing markings from civilizations both familiar and unknown. Are they hostile? Simmons asked, her fingers hovering over the tactical controls. No signs of weapon activation, Raj reported. But they're hailing us. Open a channel, Shaw said. A cacophony of voices filled the bridge, overlapping and in various languages. The universal translators struggled to keep up before finally isolating a primary speaker. An imposing figure appeared on the screen, a humanoid with silver skin and eyes that glowed with inner light. I am High Seeker Taloran of the Conclave of Realms. Identify yourselves. Shaw stood tall. "I am Captain Liam Shaw of the starship Odyssey, representing the Intergalactic Alliance. We come in peace and seek understanding of the Nexus Point." Taloran studied them intently. "You are unexpected, Captain Shaw. The convergence was not foretold to include your realm." Mira stepped forward. "We received a message from an entity known as Eco, guiding us here. We believe we may be able to assist." Taloran's expression shifted slightly. "Eco, the Wanderer. His involvement complicates matters." "What's the purpose of this convergence?" Shaw inquired. Taloran hesitated before responding. "The Nexus Point is the focal point of a multiversal alignment, a rare event where dimensions intersect, allowing for the exchange of knowledge and the resolution of cosmic imbalances. However, it also presents an opportunity for malevolent forces to seize control." "Such as the Umbra?" Mira asked. "Among others," Taloran confirmed. "The Conclave of Realms has gathered to ensure the alignment proceeds without interference." Adrian interjected. "We wish to help maintain the balance. Our experiences with interdimensional threats could be valuable." Taloran considered this. "Very well. Your assistance may prove beneficial. But be warned, the path ahead is fraught with peril." The Odyssey joined the fleet, positioning itself near the Nexus Point. The energy field pulsated, casting an ethereal glow across the assembled ships. In the conference room, representatives from various realms convened via holographic projections. Languages and cultures mingled in a tapestry of diversity. Taloran addressed the assembly. "The convergence is imminent. We must synchronize our efforts to stabilize the Nexus Point and prevent any disruptions." A reptilian envoy from a dimension of sentient crystalline beings spoke up. "Our sensors detect anomalies suggesting that an external force is attempting to manipulate the alignment." Mira exchanged a concerned look with Shaw. Could the custodians be involved? Before they could speculate further, alarms sounded throughout the fleet. "Captain, we're detecting a massive influx of Umbra energy signatures," Simmons reported over the comm. Shaw returned to the bridge, Mira and Adrian close behind. On the view screen, dark rifts began to tear open in space, and shadowy forms emerged, Umbra vessels, their ominous silhouettes advancing toward the Nexus Point. "Red alert," Shaw commanded. "All hands to battle stations." Taloran's image appeared on the screen. "Captain Shaw, the Umbra seek to corrupt the convergence. We must hold them off until the alignment is complete." "Understood," Shaw replied. "We'll coordinate our defenses." He turned to Simmons. "Target the Umbra ships. Focus on disabling their propulsion systems." "Aye, Captain." The Odyssey engaged the enemy, phaser arrays unleashing precise volleys that struck the Umbra vessels. Explosions blossomed in the vacuum of space, but more ships continued to emerge. "There's too many of them," Raj warned. "They'll overwhelm us before the convergence stabilizes." Mira's mind raced. "Captain, if we can amplify the Nexus Point's energy, we might be able to create a barrier to repel the Umbra." Adrian added, "But to do that, we'd need to interface directly with the Nexus, a risky proposition." Shaw assessed the situation. "Is there a way to do it safely?" Mira hesitated. "If I take a shuttle equipped with a modified deflector array, I could get close enough to channel the energy." "Absolutely not," Shaw objected. "It's too dangerous." She met his gaze firmly. "We don't have time to debate. It's our best shot." He knew she was right, but struggled with the decision. Finally, he relented. "Fine, but you're not going alone. I'll pilot the shuttle." Mira nodded appreciatively. "Let's get to it." In the shuttle bay, they prepared the craft, installing the necessary modifications under O'Brien's guidance. "Are you sure about this?" the chief engineer asked, concern evident in his eyes. "We have to be," Mira replied, securing the last component. Shaw entered the shuttle, taking the pilot's seat. "All systems ready?" "Ready," she confirmed, settling beside him. The shuttle launched, weaving through the chaotic battlefield. The Umbra ships loomed around them, but the Odyssey and allied vessels provided covering fire. "Approaching the Nexus Point," Shaw reported. The vortex dominated their view, its energy swirling in hypnotic patterns. "Initiating interface sequence," Mira announced, tapping commands into the console. "Adjusting the deflector array to match the Nexus's frequency." As they drew closer, the shuttle shook violently. "Hull integrity at 80%, Shaw warned. "We need to hurry." Mira focused intently, transferring power to the array now. A beam of energy projected from the shuttle, connecting with the Nexus Point. The vortex responded, its luminescence intensifying. Energy levels rising, she observed. It's working. Suddenly, a jolt rocked the shuttle as an Umbra fighter fired upon them. Shields down to 30%, Shaw reported. We can't take another hit, Mira gritted her teeth. Just a few more seconds. Another blast struck, and the console sparked. Shields are gone, Shaw shouted. At that moment, the Nexus point erupted with a surge of energy, a wave expanding outward and enveloping the battlefield. The Umbra ships were caught in its wake, their forms dissolving into shadow before vanishing entirely. The barrier is holding, Mira breathed, relief washing over her. Shaw checked the instruments. But we're caught in the energy field. Engines are offline. She looked at him, a mixture of fear and resignation. We might not make it out of this. He met her gaze steadily. We've come through worse. The shuttle began to drift toward the vortex. Captain, Dr. Elson, this is the Odyssey. Simmons's voice crackled over the comm. We're locking onto your signal. Stand by for transport. They shared a hopeful glance. Understood, Shaw replied. Energize when ready. A shimmering light enveloped them, and moments later, they materialized on the Odyssey's transporter pad. Welcome back, Simmons greeted them with a smile. You had us worried. Good to be back, Shaw said, stepping down from the pad. Mira nodded, still processing their narrow escape. Status of the Nexus point? Raj's voice came over the intercom. The Nexus point is stable, and the Umbra have been repelled. Allied ships are reporting minimal casualties. Shaw and Mira made their way to the bridge where the crew applauded their arrival. Taloran appeared on the view screen. Captain Shaw, Dr. Elson, your actions were instrumental in securing the convergence. The Conclave of Realms owes you a debt of gratitude. Happy to have helped, Shaw replied modestly. Mira addressed Taloran. What happens now? The alignment proceeds as intended, Taloran explained. The Nexus point will serve as a beacon of harmony between dimensions. Knowledge and culture can be exchanged peacefully. Adrian stepped forward. Will the Nexus point remain open indefinitely? For a time, Taloran said, but it will eventually disperse until the next convergence in eons to come. Mira considered this. We'd be honored to participate in any exchanges that further mutual understanding. Taloran inclined his head. Your realm has proven itself worthy. The Conclave welcomes such collaboration. In the days that followed, the Odyssey remained near the Nexus point, facilitating dialogues with representatives from myriad dimensions. The crew reveled in the opportunity to learn and share, forging connections that transcended the boundaries of their own universe. In the ship's arboretum, Mira sat beneath a luminescent tree gifted by a botanical envoy from a crystalline dimension. The soft glow bathed her in serene light. Eiko's presence gently enveloped her thoughts. You have done well, Mira. She smiled inwardly. We couldn't have done it without your guidance. The paths of destiny are intertwined, Eiko mused. You and your crew are now part of a greater tapestry. What's next for us, she wondered. That is for you to discover, he replied. The multiverse is vast and its wonders endless. Continue to explore, to learn, and to protect the balance. Will we see you again? Perhaps, Eiko said softly. When the time is right. His presence faded, leaving her with a sense of fulfillment. On the bridge, Shaw stood watching the Nexus point as it began to wane, its energies dispersing into the cosmos. Time to move on, he said quietly. Course heading, Captain? The helmsman asked. Shaw turned to Mira, who had joined him. Any suggestions? She smiled. The edge of the Keldara expanse holds uncharted nebulae and star systems ripe for exploration, he nodded. Set course for the Keldara frontier. Let's see what new horizons await. The engines hummed to life, and the Odyssey gracefully turned away from the fading Nexus point, venturing into the unknown once more. In his log, Shaw recorded, Captain's log, supplemental. The encounter at the Nexus point has reaffirmed the limitless possibilities that lie beyond our understanding. Through courage and collaboration, we've forged alliances that transcend dimensions and have taken part in events that will echo through eternity. As we continue our journey, I am reminded of the resilience and curiosity that define us. The multiverse beckons, with mysteries yet to be unraveled, and I have no doubt that the Odyssey and her crew are up to the challenge. End log. Thus concludes Chapter 9, where the crew of the Odyssey confronts a pivotal moment in the multiverse's destiny. Through bravery and ingenuity, they navigate the complexities of interdimensional convergence, strengthen alliances across realms, and embrace their role in shaping the tapestry of existence. The journey continues, with new adventures and discoveries awaiting them in the boundless expanse of the cosmos. The Odyssey sailed gracefully into the uncharted territories of the Keldara frontier, its hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. The vastness of space stretched out before the crew, a canvas of infinite possibilities and unseen wonders. Spirits were high as the ship ventured deeper into the unknown, the successes of their recent missions fueling a sense of optimism and unity. In the ship's arboretum, Dr. Mira Elson tended to the luminescent tree gifted by the botanical envoy. Its leaves shimmered softly, casting iridescent patterns across the surrounding flora. She had come to appreciate these quiet moments where she could reflect on their journey and contemplate the mysteries that lay ahead. Captain Liam Shaw entered the arboretum, his footsteps light against the metallic floor. "I thought I'd find you here," he said with a warm smile. She looked up, returning the smile. "It's become a favorite spot of mine. There's something soothing about this place." He joined her beneath the tree. "I received a message from the Intergalactic Alliance. They've commended us on our work at the Nexus Point and are eager to hear our full report." Mira nodded thoughtfully. "It's encouraging to know that our efforts are recognized. The knowledge we've gained could have profound implications." "Agreed," Shaw replied. "But I can't help feeling that there's more to come, that our greatest challenges and discoveries are still ahead of us." She gazed into the softly glowing leaves. "I've been sensing that, too. It's as if the universe is guiding us toward something significant." Their contemplative moment was interrupted by the ship's intercom. "Captain Shaw and Dr. Elson, please report to the bridge," Lieutenant Kira Simmons's voice announced, urgency lacing her words. Exchanging a glance, they swiftly made their way to the bridge. Upon arrival, they found the crew in a state of alert. Ensign Raj Patel was closely monitoring his console, while Simmons stood ready at the tactical station. "Report," Shaw commanded. Raj looked up, concern evident in his eyes. "Captain, we've detected a massive gravitational anomaly forming directly ahead. It's unlike any singularity or spatial distortion we've encountered." Mira moved to his side, examining the data. "These readings are extraordinary. The anomaly appears to be a convergence of gravitational waves, but they're oscillating in a pattern that suggests intentional design." "Intentional?" Shaw echoed. "You mean it's artificial?" "Possibly," she confirmed. "But what's more alarming is that the anomaly is expanding rapidly. If it continues unchecked, it could destabilize the entire region." Simmons added, "Captain, long-range sensors are picking up distress signals from nearby star systems. Communications are being disrupted across multiple sectors." Shaw's expression hardened. "Could the Umbra be involved?" Adrian Hayes entered the bridge, having heard the commotion. "Captain, I've been analyzing subspace fluctuations. There's evidence of multidimensional interference, but it doesn't match Umbra signatures." Mira's eyes widened. If it's not the Umbra, then who or what could be causing this? Before an answer could be offered, the ship's systems began to fluctuate. Lights dimmed and brightened erratically, and the hum of the engines wavered. "Engineering, report," Shaw ordered. Chief Engineer Marcus O'Brien's voice crackled over the comm. "Captain, we're experiencing power surges across all decks. The anomaly is interfering with our core systems." "Can you compensate?" Shaw asked. "Attempting to reroute power, but the fluctuations are unpredictable." Elena Martinez, the communications officer, spoke up. "Captain, incoming transmission, it's heavily distorted, but I believe it's from the custodians." "Put it through," Shaw instructed. Alaric's visage appeared on the view screen, marred by static and interference. "Captain Shaw, Dr. Elson, we require your immediate assistance. A new threat has emerged, one that endangers not only your realm, but all of existence." Shaw leaned forward. "Alaric, we're encountering a gravitational anomaly in our current position. Is this related?" "Yes," Alaric confirmed. "An entity known as the Maelstrom has awakened, a being of pure entropy consuming everything in its path. The anomaly you face is but a precursor to its arrival." Mira felt a chill run down her spine. "How can we stop it?" Alaric's image flickered. "We are assembling a coalition of forces across dimensions. Meet us at the coordinates I'm transmitting. Time is of the essence." The transmission ended abruptly. Simmons turned to Shaw. Captain, the coordinates point to the heart of the Keldara frontier. Shaw made a swift decision. Helm, set course for the coordinates. Maximum warp. The helmsman acknowledged, and the Odyssey surged forward, engines pushing the ship toward its new destination. As they journeyed, the crew prepared for the impending confrontation. In the conference room, senior officers gathered to strategize. Mira addressed the team. The Maelstrom is a theoretical entity, a cosmic force representing disorder and decay. Legends across multiple cultures reference such a being, but there's never been any concrete evidence of its existence. Adrian added, if it's real and active, it could unravel the fabric of space-time itself. O'Brien spoke up. Our weapons and defenses are designed for physical and energy-based threats. Facing a being of pure entropy is a different challenge altogether. Shaw considered their points. We need to think beyond conventional means. Mira, is there any way to counteract entropy on such a scale? She pondered for a moment. Perhaps if we could generate a field of negentropy, an area of increasing order, we might be able to slow or contain the Maelstrom's effects. Raj interjected. Theoretically, if we could harness the energy from multiple dimensions, we could amplify such a field. Shaw nodded. Then we'll need to collaborate closely with the custodians and any other allies we have. Upon reaching the designated coordinates, the Odyssey emerged into a region teeming with activity. Ships of various designs and origins filled the space, forming a vast armada. At the center was a massive structure, a nexus of energy and technology pulsating with power. Alaric hailed them immediately. Captain Shaw, welcome. Time is short. The Maelstrom approaches, and we must act swiftly. Shaw replied, we're ready to assist. What's the plan? Alaric's image appeared on the screen. We intend to establish a containment field using the combined energies of our vessels. However, to initiate the field, a catalyst is required, an artifact known as the Core of Harmony. Mira's curiosity was piqued. The Core of Harmony? An ancient relic capable of unifying disparate energies, Alaric explained. It was lost eons ago, but has resurfaced in a dimension adjacent to yours. We need you to retrieve it. Shaw exchanged a glance with Mira. Why us? The path to the core is treacherous, and your ship's unique capabilities make you the best candidate. Moreover, Echo has spoken highly of your resourcefulness. Mira felt a mixture of pride and trepidation. We'll do it. Excellent, Alaric affirmed. I'm transmitting the coordinates and necessary access codes. May fortune favor you. The Odyssey set course for the new destination, the crew fully aware of the gravity of their mission. In the ship's library, Mira and Adrian researched the Core of Harmony, uncovering tales of its origins. It's said to be a fragment of the original cosmic order, Adrian noted, a nexus point in itself, capable of harmonizing chaotic energies. Mira contemplated this. If we can harness it, we might have a chance against the Maelstrom. As they approached the dimension housing the core, the ship was enveloped in a surreal landscape. Colors beyond the visible spectrum danced across the VE screen, and the very fabric of space seemed fluid. Entering the dimensional threshold, Raj reported. All systems stable, but readings are unconventional. Shaw remained composed. Proceed carefully. Keep an eye on any fluctuations. The Odyssey navigated through the ethereal realm, eventually arriving at a colossal structure resembling an ancient temple, suspended amid swirling energies. Scan for the core, Shaw instructed. Picking up a powerful energy signature at the center of the structure, Raj confirmed. Transporters? Shaw inquired. Negative, Simmons replied. Interference is too great. Then we'll assemble an away team, Shaw decided. Mira, Adrian, you're with me. O'Brien, you have the bridge. Donning specialized suits to protect against the unpredictable environment, the away team beamed down to the structure's entrance. The interior was a labyrinth of corridors, adorned with symbols and inscriptions in languages both familiar and alien. Adrian scanned the surroundings. These markings depict the history of the multiverse, a chronicle of creation and entropy. Mira pointed to an inscription. This indicates a series of trials designed to test those who seek the core. Shaw's jaw tightened. Stay alert. We don't know what to expect. As they ventured deeper, they encountered the first trial, a chamber where gravity fluctuated wildly, compensating suit stabilizers, Mira announced. Follow my lead. They carefully navigated the chamber, timing their movements with the gravitational shifts. The next trial was a corridor filled with temporal distortions. Visions of the past and possible futures flickered around them. Adrian paused, momentarily captivated by an image of a catastrophic event. "Is that the Odyssey?" Mira grasped his arm. "Stay focused. These are illusions meant to distract us." Shaw urged them forward. "We're getting close." Finally, they reached the central chamber. At its heart floated the core of harmony, a radiant orb emitting a soothing, harmonious hum. Mira approached cautiously. "It's beautiful." As she reached out to retrieve it, a guardian materialized, a being of pure light, its form shifting and ethereal. "Who seeks the core?" the guardian's voice echoed. Shaw stepped forward. "We are representatives of the Intergalactic Alliance. We seek the core to prevent the maelstrom from consuming all existence." The guardian's gaze was penetrating. "The core is not to be wielded lightly. Do you understand the responsibility it carries?" Mira nodded earnestly. "We do. We are committed to preserving harmony across the multiverse." The guardian considered them for a moment before speaking. "Very well, the core is yours. Use it wisely." The orb gently descended into Mira's hands, its warmth enveloping her. "Thank you," she whispered. Returning to the Odyssey, the crew prepared to rendezvous with the Coalition forces. The core was installed into a specially designed chamber interfacing with the ship's systems. "All systems are integrating smoothly," O'Brien reported. "The core's energy is stabilizing our reactors beyond optimal levels." Shaw addressed the crew. "We're about to face an unprecedented threat, but I have absolute confidence in each of you. Together, we'll do what's necessary to safeguard all that we hold dear." Rejoining the Armada, the Odyssey took its position within the formation. The maelstrom was now visible. A colossal, swirling mass of darkness and chaos, devouring everything in its path. Alaric communicated with them. "The time has come. With the core of harmony, we can initiate the containment field." Mira stood by the core's interface, hands poised over the controls. "Ready to activate on your command, Captain?" Shaw nodded. "Do it." She initiated the sequence, and a beam of pure, radiant energy surged from the Odyssey, connecting with similar beams from the other ships. Together, they formed a vast, intricate web of light encircling the maelstrom. The entity reacted violently, pulsating and writhing against the containment. The ships shuddered under the strain. "Structural integrity holding, but we're pushing the limits," O'Brien warned. Mira focused intensely. "We need to harmonize our energies perfectly. Any deviation could cause the field to collapse." Adrian assisted, adjusting calculations in real time. Compensating for fluctuations. Almost there. The maelstrom's thrashing intensified, and a tendril of darkness lashed out, striking one of the Coalition ships, which erupted in a burst of light. "Casualties reported," Simmons relayed somberly. Shaw's expression was resolute. "Hold the line. We can't falter now." Echo's presence suddenly enveloped the bridge, his ethereal form appearing beside Mira. "Echo!" she exclaimed. "Can you help us?" He nodded. "I will amplify the core's power, but it will require a conduit, a connection through a willing vessel." Mira understood immediately. "I'll do it," Shaw protested. "Mira, it's too dangerous." She looked at him with determination. "This is our only chance. Trust me." Echo placed a hand on her shoulder. "We will be with you." Mira closed her eyes as a surge of energy flowed through her, channeling into the core. The containment field intensified, its light becoming blinding. The maelstrom let out a final, deafening roar before imploding upon itself, collapsing into a singular point of light before vanishing entirely. Silence fell over the bridge. "Enemy presence. Gone," Raj confirmed, disbelief in his voice. Cheers erupted throughout the ship. Shaw turned to Mira, who swayed slightly, exhaustion evident. He caught her as she stumbled. "Easy," he said gently. She smiled weakly. "We did it." Echo's form flickered. "The balance is restored. Your courage and sacrifice have saved countless lives." Shaw nodded gratefully. "Thank you. Echo, we couldn't have done it without you." Echo's gaze softened. "It was your unity and determination that made the difference. Remember that as you continue your journey." His form dissolved into a cascade of light, leaving them with a profound sense of peace. In the aftermath, the Coalition forces disbanded, each returning to their respective realms with renewed hope and newfound alliances. Back on the Odyssey, the crew gathered for a well-deserved celebration in the mess hall. Laughter and camaraderie filled the air as they recounted their experiences. Shaw raised a glass. To the most extraordinary crew in the galaxy, your bravery and dedication are an inspiration. Here's to many more adventures together. Cheers, the crew responded enthusiastically. Mira and Adrian stood side by side, a sense of accomplishment and relief washing over them. Quite the journey, Adrian remarked. Mira nodded. And something tells me it's far from over. He grinned. Wouldn't have it any other way. Later, in her quarters, Mira reflected on the day's events. The core of Harmony had been entrusted to the custodians for safekeeping, and the maelstrom was no longer a threat. Yet, she couldn't shake the feeling that there were still mysteries to uncover. A soft chime signaled an incoming message. She activated the console to find a personal note from Alaric. Dr. Elson, your actions have proven that cooperation across dimensions is not only possible but essential. The custodians are in your debt. We look forward to future collaborations. Alaric. She smiled, heartened by the progress they had made. In his log, Shaw recorded, Captain's log, final entry. The defeat of the maelstrom marks a turning point not just for us, but for countless civilizations across the multiverse. Through unity and courage, we've achieved the extraordinary. As we set our sights on new horizons, I am filled with gratitude for this remarkable crew and the bonds we've forged. The universe is vast and unpredictable, but with steadfast hearts and open minds, there is nothing we cannot face. The Odyssey will continue her voyage, exploring the unknown, fostering peace, and embracing the endless possibilities that await. End log. Thus concludes Chapter 10, where the crew of the Odyssey confronts their greatest challenge yet, the Maelstrom, a cosmic force threatening all of existence. Through sacrifice, unity, and the strength of their alliances, they prevail, reaffirming their commitment to protecting the multiverse. The journey continues, filled with hope and the promise of new adventures among the stars. The Odyssey sailed onward through the tapestry of stars, its course set for the uncharted regions beyond the Caldara frontier. The crew carried with them not only the triumph over the Maelstrom, but also a renewed sense of purpose. The vastness of space beckoned, and with it the promise of new discoveries and alliances. In the ship's briefing room, Captain Liam Shaw stood before his senior officers. A holographic map displayed a swirling nebula known as the Elysian Veil, a region rumored to hold secrets of ancient civilizations. Starfleet Command has authorized our exploration of the Elysian Veil, Shaw announced. Preliminary scan suggests the presence of unusual energy signatures and possible signs of advanced technology. Dr. Mira Elson leaned forward, her eyes reflecting the nebula's iridescent hues. The Elysian Veil has been a subject of speculation for centuries. Some believe it harbors gateways to other realms or remnants of precursor civilizations. Lieutenant Kira Simmons adjusted the tactical display. Captain, given our recent encounters with interdimensional entities, we should proceed with caution. The veil could conceal unknown threats. Ensign Raj Patel nodded in agreement. I've been analyzing the energy patterns. They fluctuate in ways that suggest instability. Navigating through the nebula may pose risks to our systems. Chief Engineer Marcus O'Brien grinned. Challenges are what we live for, right? I'll make sure the Odyssey is ready for whatever we encounter. Shaw smiled appreciatively. I have no doubt. Let's prepare for entry into the Elysian Veil. All departments, run diagnostics, and ensure we're at peak readiness. As the Odyssey approached the edge of the Elysian Veil, the crew marveled at the nebula's beauty. Tendrils of luminous gas and dust swirled in intricate patterns, shimmering with every color imaginable. In the ship's arboretum, Mira and Dr. Adrian Hayes observed the spectacle through the transparent dome. It's breathtaking, Adrian remarked. I've never seen anything like it. Mira nodded. There's something almost musical about it, as if the nebula itself is resonating with energy. He glanced at her thoughtfully. Do you think there's a connection between the veil and the core of Harmony we retrieved? It's possible, she mused. Perhaps the Elysian Veil is another focal point of cosmic balance. Their contemplation was interrupted by the ship's intercom. All senior officers, please report to the bridge, came Shaw's steady voice. On the bridge, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. The Odyssey was poised to enter the nebula, its sensors probing the unknown ahead. Captain, all systems are green, O'Brien reported. We've reinforced the shields to withstand the nebula's electromagnetic interference. Shaw acknowledged the update. Helm, take us in. 1/3 impulse power. Aye, Captain, the helmsman replied, guiding the ship into the swirling mists. As they entered the Elysian Vale, the view screen filled with vibrant colors and ethereal light. The ship's instruments began to register anomalies. Radiation levels are within tolerable limits, Raj stated, but we're detecting unusual particles, unknown elements not found on any periodic table. Fascinating, Mira said, her eyes scanning the data. These particles exhibit properties of both matter and energy. Simmons monitored her console. Captain, long-range sensors are picking up a structure approximately 0.2 light-years ahead. It's massive. Shaw leaned forward. On screen, the image resolved to reveal an enormous construct, a colossal ring encircling a pulsating sphere of light. The structure was adorned with intricate designs, its surface alive with flowing patterns. Mira's breath caught. It's like a Dyson sphere, but on a scale we've never seen. Adrian added, the energy emanating from the sphere is off the charts. It could power entire galaxies. Shaw considered their findings. Option S? Mira turned to him. We should investigate further. This could be a relic of an ancient civilization, a chance to learn more about our universe's history. Simmons cautioned, Captain, we should maintain a safe distance until we understand its capabilities. Agreed, Shaw said. Approach with caution. Let's see if we can establish communication. As the Odyssey drew nearer, the ship's systems began to experience fluctuations. Lights flickered, and consoles displayed erratic readings. Engineering report, Shaw commanded. O'Brien's voice came over the comm. Captain, the structure's energy field is interfering with our systems. I'm attempting to compensate, but the interference is increasing. Mira analyzed the data. The structure appears to be emitting a harmonic resonance that's affecting our technology. It's almost as if it's trying to communicate. Elena Martinez, the communications officer, interjected. Captain, I'm picking up a signal. It's faint but distinct, an organized pattern that could be a language. Can you translate it? Shaw asked. I'm running it through the universal translator now, she replied. Moments later, a melodic voice filled the bridge. Travelers of the stars, you have entered the domain of the Luminalis. State your purpose. Shaw stood. This is Captain Liam Shaw of the starship Odyssey. We come in peace and seek knowledge. There was a brief pause before the voice responded. Peace and knowledge are noble pursuits. You are welcomed, but be aware, the harmony here must not be disturbed. Mira exchanged a glance with Shaw. Captain, perhaps we can arrange a meeting. This is an unprecedented opportunity. He nodded. Agreed. Request permission to meet with a representative of the Luminalis. Elena relayed the message. After a moment, the voice replied, Permission granted. A guide will be sent to escort you. Prepare for transit. Transit? Simmons repeated, puzzled. Before they could react, a beam of light enveloped Mira, Shaw, and Adrian, transporting them off the bridge. They materialized within a grand chamber filled with luminous beings, the Luminalis. Their forms were composed of light and energy, shifting and flowing like living sculptures. One stepped forward, its voice resonating both audibly and within their minds. I am Alara, emissary of the Luminalis. Welcome to the Harmonic Nexus. Shaw inclined his head respectfully. Thank you for receiving us. Mira marveled at their surroundings. Your domain is remarkable. The energy here is unlike anything we've encountered. Alara's light shimmered. We exist to maintain the balance of energy and harmony in this region. The Elysian Vale is both our home and our charge. Adrian asked, Are you aware of the maelstrom and the recent events affecting the multiverse? Alara's expression shifted subtly. We sensed the disturbances and the restoration that followed. Your actions have resonated across dimensions. Mira seized the opportunity. We believe there's much we can learn from one another. Perhaps we can share knowledge to promote harmony beyond this region. Alara considered her words. An exchange of wisdom could benefit all. However, there are those who seek to exploit the harmony for their own purposes. We must be cautious. Shaw assured them, Our intentions are peaceful. We aim to protect and explore, not to harm. Alara's light brightened. Very well, we will begin with a demonstration of our harmonics. Perhaps you will find it enlightening. Back on the Odyssey, the crew worked to stabilize the ship's systems in the absence of their captain and senior officers. Simmons took command. Status report. O'Brien updated her. Engineering is holding steady. The interference has lessened since the transport occurred. Raj added, I'm detecting a stabilization in the harmonic frequencies. It seems the Luminalis are adjusting the resonance to accommodate us. Good, Simmons replied. Maintain alert statue cess until the captain returns. Within the Harmonic Nexus, Alara led them to a vast chamber where streams of light converged in a symphony of color and sound. This is the core of resonance, Alara explained. It is the heart of our civilization, where we harmonize the energies that sustain the veil. Mira felt a profound sense of connection. It's incredible. The harmonics here are akin to the fundamental frequencies of the universe. Adrian's analytical mind raced. If we could understand and replicate this process, it could revolutionize our technology and energy production. Alara cautioned, such knowledge carries great responsibility. Misuse could lead to imbalance and destruction. Shaw acknowledged the warning. We understand. Our goal is to learn, not to exploit. As they observed, an alarm resonated through the chamber, a discordant note that disrupted the harmony. Alara's light flickered with urgency. An imbalance has occurred. A presence is attempting to breach the nexus. Mira looked to Shaw. Captain, we need to return to the ship. Before they could act, a shadowy figure materialized, a being composed of darkness and shifting forms. Ah, the travelers, the entity hissed. How convenient. Alara confronted the intruder. Tenebris, you are not welcome here. Tenebris sneered. Harmony and balance, such quaint notions. Chaos is the true nature of existence. Shaw stepped forward. Who are you, and what do you want? I am Tenebris, harbinger of entropy, the being declared. The maelstrom was but a precursor. Now I will harness the power of the Harmonic Nexus to usher in a new era of chaos. Adrian whispered to Mira, this could be an echo of the maelstrom's essence, a remnant seeking to reignite entropy. Alara summoned streams of light to encircle Tenebris. You will not succeed. Tenebris laughed, the sound grating against their senses. Your light cannot extinguish the darkness within me. On the Odyssey, alarms blared as systems began to fail. Simmons called out, Report. Raj's voice was strained. An energy surge is emanating from the Nexus. It's disrupting our core functions. O'Brien's hands flew over the controls. We're losing containment on the warp core. Evacuate engineering, Simmons ordered. Redirect all available power to stabilize the core. Within the Nexus, the confrontation escalated. Tenebris unleashed waves of dark energy clashing with the Luminalis light. Mira felt a pull, a resonance between herself and the core of resonance. Captain, I think I can help. Shaw looked at her with concern. Mira, be careful. She stepped forward, focusing her thoughts. The luminescent tree aboard the Odyssey, the core of harmony, and her experiences with Eco all coalesced within her. Channeling the harmonic energies, she extended her hands, emitting a beam of light that joined with Alara's. Together they began to push back Tenebris's darkness. Tenebris snarled, You cannot withstand the abyss. Adrian joined them, adding his own energy to the mix. The combined force began to overwhelm Tenebris. Now, Alara commanded. With a final surge, they enveloped Tenebris in a sphere of pure light. The entity's form wavered before dissipating into nothingness. On the Odyssey, systems stabilized as the disruptive energies ceased. O'Brien sighed with relief. Warp core containment restored. Simmons allowed herself a small smile. Good work, everyone. Stand by for further instructions. Back in the Nexus, Alara faced them with gratitude. Your courage and harmony of spirit have saved us. Mira felt a deep sense of fulfillment. We couldn't have done it without you. Shaw added, Perhaps this demonstrates the power of unity across different forms of life. Alara's light shimmered warmly. Indeed, we have much to learn from one another. Let this be the beginning of a lasting alliance. Returning to the Odyssey, Shaw, Mira, and Adrian briefed the crew on the events. Simmons greeted them. Glad to have you back, Captain. We were starting to get worried. Everything under control here? Shaw asked. All systems stable, she confirmed. Mira addressed the team. We've established a new alliance with the Luminalis. Their understanding of harmonics could greatly enhance our technology and knowledge. Adrian smiled. And we help prevent another existential threat in the process. Shaw looked around at his crew, pride evident in his eyes. Outstanding work, everyone. Set a course out of the Elysian Vale. Let's continue our journey. As the Odyssey departed the nebula, the crew reflected on their experiences. In the mess hall, conversations buzzed with excitement about the Luminalis and the potential advancements ahead. O'Brien joined Mira and Adrian at their table. "So, when do we start integrating harmonic resonance into our engines?" he joked. Mira laughed lightly. "One step at a time, Marcus, but the possibilities are certainly intriguing." Adrian raised his glass. "To exploration and the endless wonders of the universe." "Cheers," they all echoed. In his quarters, Shaw recorded his log. Captain's log, supplemental. "Our encounter with the Luminalis has opened new doors of understanding. Their mastery of harmonic energies offers a glimpse into the deeper workings of the cosmos. Once again, the Odyssey and her crew have demonstrated that through collaboration and open-mindedness, we can overcome any obstacle and forge new paths forward. As we venture into the unknown, I am reminded of the words of an ancient philosopher. The universe is full of magical things, patiently waiting for our wits to grow sharper." End log. That evening, Mira returned to the arboretum. The luminescent tree glowed softly, its light resonating with the harmonics she had experienced. Eco's presence gently touched her mind. "You have grown much, Mira," she smiled inwardly. "There's still so much to learn." "Indeed," he agreed. "But remember, the journey itself is as important as the destination." "Will we see you again?" she asked. "In moments of need and in the quiet spaces between," Echo replied cryptically. As his presence faded, Mira felt a profound sense of peace and anticipation for the adventures yet to come. Thus concludes Chapter 11, where the crew of the Odyssey delves into the mysteries of the Elysian Vale, encountering the enigmatic Luminalis and confronting the lingering shadows of entropy. Through unity and the harmonious convergence of diverse beings, they overcome adversity and continue their voyage, ever seeking the boundless wonders that await them among the stars. The Odyssey continued its voyage through the endless expanse of space, the ship's hull reflecting the distant glow of nebulae and stars. The crew carried with them the wisdom and experiences of their incredible journey, a tapestry woven with threads of courage, friendship, and discovery. As they ventured further into uncharted territories, a sense of anticipation filled the air. They knew that their greatest adventure was yet to unfold. In the captain's ready room, Captain Liam Shaw sat across from Dr. Mira Elson and Dr. Adrian Hayes. A holographic projection displayed a star system unlike any they had encountered, a trinary sun configuration with a unique gravitational balance. "Starfleet Command has transmitted new orders," Shaw began. "We've been tasked with investigating this system, known as the Trinity Star, due to unusual readings that suggest the presence of a cosmic artifact." Mira studied the projection. An artifact capable of influencing gravitational forces on a stellar scale? The implications for our understanding of physics could be monumental. Adrian nodded in agreement. Not to mention the potential applications for energy and propulsion systems. Shaw leaned forward. "Precisely. However, there are also concerns. The readings indicate fluctuations that could destabilize the system. Our mission is to secure the artifact and prevent any potential catastrophe." Just as the Odyssey approached the Trinity star system, the crew prepared for what they sensed would be a defining moment in their journey. The three suns, blue, white, and red, orbited a common center, their combined light casting a mesmerizing kaleidoscope of colors across the ship's view screen. Lieutenant Kira Simmons reported from the tactical station, "Captain, sensors are detecting a massive structure at the gravitational nexus of the stars. It appears to be the source of the anomalies." Ensign Raj Patel added, "The structure is emitting energy signatures similar to those of the core of Harmony and the Harmonic Nexus, but on a scale we've never seen." Mira's eyes widened. Could this be the legendary Keystone, a mythical artifact said to maintain the balance of forces in the universe? Shaw considered her words. "It's possible. If the Keystone exists and is destabilizing, we need to act quickly." Chief Engineer Marcus O'Brien chimed in over the comm. "Captain, the closer we get, the more strain our systems are experiencing. I recommend we establish a safe perimeter." "Agreed," Shaw replied. "Hold position at a safe distance. Prepare a shuttle for an away team." Mira, Adrian, and Shaw boarded the shuttle, equipped with advanced protective gear designed to withstand the intense gravitational forces near the Nexus. As they departed the Odyssey, the ship maintained a steady orbit, ready to provide support if needed. The shuttle navigated through the gravitational currents, weaving between streams of stellar matter drawn toward the Nexus. The view was both awe-inspiring and humbling. "Approaching the structure," Mira announced. "It's unlike anything recorded in our databases." The Keystone was a colossal construct of intricate design, appearing as a multifaceted crystal suspended at the heart of the trinary star's gravitational pull. Energies swirled around it, creating a symphony of light and motion. Adrian scanned the artifact. "I'm detecting fluctuations in its energy matrix. If left unchecked, it could cause a chain reaction leading to a supernova in all 3 stars." Shaw set his jaw. "We need to stabilize it. Suggestions?" Mira analyzed the data. "If we can interface with the Keystone, perhaps we can realign its harmonics. Our previous experiences with the core of harmony and the Luminalis could guide us." Adrian agreed. "We can adapt our equipment to match its frequencies, but we'll need to be precise. Any miscalculation could exacerbate the instability." Docking at a small platform extending from the Keystone, the away team disembarked, feeling the intense energies pulsing through the structure. The surface was smooth yet vibrant, patterns of light flowing beneath their feet. "Stay close," Shaw cautioned. "Maintain communication with the Odyssey." As they ventured deeper into the Keystone, they entered a chamber where the energies converged. At its center stood a pedestal with a crystalline interface resembling a console. Mira approached it cautiously. "This appears to be a control node. If we can access it, we might be able to stabilize the Keystone." Before they could proceed, a luminous figure materialized before them, a being of light similar to the Luminalis, but more ancient and radiant. "Welcome, travelers," the figure spoke with a voice that resonated within their minds. "I am Solara, guardian of the Keystone." Shaw stepped forward. "We are here to help. The Keystone is destabilizing and the surrounding systems are at risk." Solara regarded them with a serene expression. "The balance has been disrupted by forces seeking to manipulate the Keystone's power. I have awaited those who carry the harmony within them." Mira realized the significance. "Our encounters with the core of harmony and the Harmonic Nexus have attuned us to these energies." Adrian looked to Solara. "What must we do to restore the balance?" Solara extended her hands, revealing a shimmering orb. "Join your energies with mine. Together, we can realign the Keystone and prevent catastrophe." Back on the Odyssey, the crew monitored the situation with mounting concern. Simmons reported, "Captain, gravitational readings are spiking. The stars are becoming increasingly unstable." O'Brien worked frantically. "I'm diverting all available power to structural integrity fields, but we can't hold this position indefinitely." Ensign Patel added, "Communications with the away team are intermittent due to the interference." Within the Keystone, Mira, Shaw, and Adrian formed a circle with Solara at the center. They focused their thoughts, channeling their experiences and the harmonious energies they had cultivated throughout their journey. As their energies merged, the Keystone responded, its light intensifying. Patterns of harmony spread throughout the structure, resonating with the trinary stars. Solara guided them. "Feel the rhythm of the cosmos. Let the harmony flow through you." Visions of their past encounters flashed before them. The unity with the custodians, the synergy with the Luminalis, and the overcoming of darkness with Eco's guidance. Each memory strengthened their connection. The Keystone's energies began to stabilize, the wild fluctuations calming into a steady pulse. On the Odyssey, the readings shifted. "Captain, gravitational forces are normalizing," Raj exclaimed. "The stars are returning to stable orbits." Simmons smiled with relief. "They've done it." O'Brien let out a breath. "Remind me to thank them when they're back on board." Within the Keystone, Solara smiled warmly. "You have restored the balance. The Keystone is secure, and the harmony of this region is preserved." Shaw nodded appreciatively. "We couldn't have done it without your guidance." Mira felt a profound sense of fulfillment. "Is the Keystone now safe from future disruptions?" Solara's expression grew thoughtful. "For now. But remember, harmony requires ongoing commitment. The forces of chaos and entropy are ever present." Adrian asked, "Is there anything more we can do?" Solara placed a hand over her heart. "Carry the harmony within you, spread it through your actions and choices. In doing so, you contribute to the balance of the cosmos." She then raised her arms, and a gentle wave of light enveloped the away team. "Farewell, travelers. May your journey be filled with light." Back on the shuttle, they set a course back to the Odyssey. As they departed, the Keystone shone brilliantly, a beacon of harmony amidst the vastness of space. Upon their return, the crew gathered to welcome the M. Applause and cheers filled the shuttle bay as they stepped out. Shaw addressed the crew. "Excellent work, everyone. We've not only averted a potential disaster, but also deepened our understanding of the universe." Mira added, "Our experiences have shown us that harmony and unity are powerful forces. Let's continue to embody these principles." That evening, a celebratory gathering was held in the ship's mess hall. Laughter and camaraderie flowed freely as the crew shared stories and reflected on their journey. Iko's presence subtly touched Mira's mind. "You have done well, my friend." She smiled inwardly. "Thank you, Iko. Your guidance has been invaluable." "Your journey has reached a pivotal point," Iko continued. "But new horizons await. The legacy you leave will inspire others." "Will you be part of those new horizons?" she asked. "In one form or another," he replied enigmatically. "The connections we've forged transcend time and space." In the captain's quarters, Shaw composed his final log entry for the mission. Captain's log. Final entry. "As we set a course back toward familiar stars, I am filled with gratitude and pride. The Odyssey and her crew have accomplished feats beyond imagination. We've forged alliances, confronted cosmic forces, and discovered the profound impact of harmony and unity. Our journey has taught us that the universe is not just a collection of stars and planets, but a living tapestry woven with threads of connection and purpose. Each of us holds a strand, and together we shape the fabric of existence. As we return home, we carry with us not just knowledge but a legacy of light that will guide future explorers in their own voyages." End log. The Odyssey charted a course back to the heart of the Intergalactic Alliance. Along the way, the crew continued to grow and learn, their experiences enriching not only their own lives, but also the lives of those they would encounter. In the ship's arboretum, Mira sat beneath the luminescent tree, its glow a comforting presence. Adrian joined her, a contented smile on his face. "Hard to believe this chapter of our journey is coming to a close," he mused. She nodded. "But every ending is a new beginning. There are always more discoveries to be made." He looked thoughtful. "What's next for you?" Mira considered the question. "I think I'll focus on sharing what we've learned, helping others understand the importance of harmony and unity." Adrian smiled. "Sounds like a worthy endeavor. Count me in." As the Odyssey approached Alliance space, messages of congratulations and requests for debriefings flooded in. The crew prepared to share their wealth of knowledge, eager to contribute to the greater good. In one final gathering, Captain Shaw addressed the crew. "Together, we've explored the unknown, faced unimaginable challenges, and emerged stronger for it. I couldn't have asked for a better team. As we return, let's carry forward the spirit of exploration and the values that have guided us." The crew erupted in applause, the sense of camaraderie palpable. Thus, the Odyssey completed its grand voyage, leaving an indelible mark on the universe and its inhabitants. The legacy of their journey would inspire generations to come, a testament to the power of unity, courage, and the unquenchable thirst for knowledge. As the ship sailed into the familiar starlight of home, the crew looked to the future with hope and anticipation, knowing that the echoes of their adventures would resonate across the cosmos for all eternity.